Hello and welcome to Red Mist TV. My name is Barry Green. This is Scott Goldblatt. He's a Man United fan. He's not feeling too good today, whereas we're going into the game this evening with Crystal Palace full of confidence. What happened last night?
Yeah, this is a Liverpool watch-along. We're live on YouTube, so guys, make sure you subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon. That will mean you're notified the next time we have content about to be released. But we didn't cover yesterday's game. We couldn't do it. But I've had a bit of time to reflect on it, and it's obviously the problems are now starting to materialise on the pitch, and the chickens are all starting to come home to roost now. We know that there's a totally fractured relationship between Jose Mourinho and the board. He didn't get the players he wanted in the summer, and he's carrying that around in that kind of cloud of negativity that seems to have been following him all pre-season. The board haven't backed Jose Mourinho, and it's now evident that they haven't backed Jose Mourinho because they're not sure about him anymore. They thinking, we've now made a mistake? Stop laughing. And yesterday, there's the good and the bad of Jose Mourinho, and yesterday was encapsulated all of it. And I've said many times already since we started this channel that I think he's done a good job at Man United overall. Because of last season was a step forward in the league. And it's going to be very difficult for him to improve unless he wins the league. And we're not going to win the league. Top four.
You're saying after the second game, and actually Paddy Power today, you're out to 25 to 1. I think you're fifth favourites or something like that to win the league, which I think is. Look, a lot can happen. But if you look at if you look at Leicester, the performance, what got us through the Leicester performance was the victory. Yeah. But it was poor. And we said there was too many things that we saw from last season in the Leicester performance. What masked the atmosphere and the mood is that they got a win. They almost tried to throw it away towards the end. But it was very typical Jose. It was an early goal, and then it was withdraw and try to sort of suffocate the game by containing possession. This happened last season. We lost to Brighton away. We lost to Huddersfield away. And exactly the same thing happened yesterday. We got off to a terrible start and never recovered from it. Some of the mistakes that were made by the players were absolutely horrendous, quite frankly. He seemed to get absolutely torn apart, didn't he?
And Gary Neville, obviously we're going to be watching the Liverpool match tonight, and Gary Neville, you can see him sort of gesticulating. He has said that now in his opinion, Bailly and Lindelof are second centre-halves or possibly even third centre-halves. So I know it is just, and we've spent millions and millions of pounds. So the big issue is that the back four is obviously terrible. Ashley Young is still a fullback in that team. What he's doing in the team, I don't know. Luke Shaw's coming back in, trying to re-establish himself as a Man United player. And there's massive uncertainty over the centre-half combination. We've gone with the two new-ish guys, Bailly and Lindelof.
We thought they did pretty well in the game against Leicester.
They did play well against Leicester. They were shocking yesterday. And really, what I was saying now, do we go back to Smalling and Jones?
Where is Jones? Where is he?
Where's that going to leave us as a team if we have to go back to Smalling and Jones? Or does he try a combination of the two? Is it Jones and Bailly or something like that? But what Jose Mourinho is responsible for is the style of football on the pitch. And it is terrible.
He's so negative, isn't he?
It's just, but it's not even good negative. Yeah. It's not like you've seen teams keep the ball and
spray it back and forward in their own half type
and it's quite clever. Bayern Munich, I remember, did it quite well. Yeah. They just sort of suffocate the game, but it's actually quite clever to watch them keep the ball and suffocate the game. This isn't even good to watch. And what we had towards the end of the match, it's heartbreaking.
I find it quite funny. Actually.
It's Lukaku, and then obviously Fellaini comes on, and are we serious after 300 million quid? Who are you texting now, your mate?
I'm going to give you some stats here in a minute. That's what I'm going to give you.
What am I saying here? It's chip it up to the big man and hope that we've got. Graham Souness said it yesterday. It's like feeding off scraps or bits and pieces. I guess it's Man United, and it just hammers home the fact that what Jose is responsible for is the fact that he re-signs Marouane Fellaini. So no one made him do that.
But he gives him, what, a 4-year deal?
And he's a 2-year extension, I think. But it's going to be it's a plan B.
Yeah.
But it is so bad to watch that it inspires absolutely no belief in any of the players. I think the players are demoralised whenever that becomes a strategy. Because I was saying, is what Jose's saying to the players that you're not good enough to win this game or get back into it, so we're now going to go long ball and chip it up to the big man, bypass the midfielders. Sure, spent 53 million quid on a midfielder.
He was awful yesterday as well.
Dreadful. And he's poor against, I said I thought he was poor against West Ham, or against Leicester, and a lot of people disagreed with that, said he was a very solid game. It just shows that sometimes we don't have, we all have different opinions, but to me, I thought he highlighted what a struggle it was yesterday.
Let me just highlight the point, and again, I think we're in agreement, we're all chasing Manchester City this season.
Yeah.
They had a great win, 6-1, they beat Huddersfield, absolutely trounced them. But interestingly, their 3 centre-backs that they played 76% of their passes in the opposition's half, i.e. in Huddersfield's half. Manchester United, by contrast, Lindelof and Bailly played 19% of their passes in the opposition half. Now some of the numbers are quite startling. Bailly played 9 passes inside the opposition half, whereas he played the majority of it, 70% inside his own. Same for Lindelof. And what we're seeing here is, I suppose, Mourinho's tactics. He's obviously transmitting this onto the pitch, whether that be by accident or design. I think it's by design. It's by the personnel who are involved as well. But you went to Brighton, you were trying to build on the 3 points, and you've made an absolute bollocks of it, basically.
I think it is absolute aims of it. And what the shocking goal was the penalty, the 3-1 goal, which is, whenever you go 2-0 down and then you get back to 2-1, that's sometimes that can be better than being at 0-0 if you're not playing that well, because you're on the up. You're now optimistic about getting back into the game, and it's all systems go. The 3-1 goal was terrifying for Bailly from that, watching him, because he at no point should a centre half in his own penalty area be turned and faced towards his own goal, running back. You're in massive difficulties, and he was caught out so bad positionally. For the first goal, Glenn Murray made a good run across to the near post. But I mean, you have 2 centre halves who are supposed to be, world class footballers. But for the 3-1 goal was terrifying for a Man United fan to watch that, because the guy was turned running back towards his own goal, and it was only, he only had 5 or 6 yards before we got into the 6-yard box. So how could you ever be in a situation where you're in such a bad position? And then to go to ground like that was utterly terrifying. And again, if you look at our world-class defenders that we've had down the years, Rio Ferdinand, his trick, he always said was, I know that I'm having a good game and on my form if my shorts are clean at the end of the match. And Alan Hansen was a big believer in that. They should never go to ground. If you go to ground, you have a problem. It's not that a centre forward's giving you problems, it's you have a problem with your defending, because you should just never be in a position where you've got to go to ground. So we're
How big is this problem? Because straight away on social media it goes boom for Man United, Jose out. I looked at the marks that the players got in a lot of the big tabloids, 3 and 4s, that type of thing.
Shocking.
Should Jose leave?
I don't think it's going to be his choice. The buyout's 12 million apparently to get shot of him.
But we're already in this territory, 2 games in. Two
games in, but this was always going to happen now because of the way the summer transfer window, and whether whoever is right or wrong, no matter who's right or wrong, that has now put Jose in a virtually untenable position. And the reason for that is he's had a shopping list. The board haven't delivered it, and I think the board haven't delivered it because they're now having a change of heart. Ed Woodward's gone, God, I wanted Jose Mourinho, and I've got Jose Mourinho's grumpy brother to be the United manager. And so Jose hasn't been backed. We're now talking about a director of football. So almost the club, the way it's communicating, it's saying we need to reposition this club beyond Jose Mourinho. We're building a structure around him, above him, whereby if he moves on, so be it, and we still have a structure in place. And that, I think, is very upsetting for Jose Mourinho. I think it compounds what has been a bad summer, and it compounds the way that he has behaved himself. He talked glowingly of Paul Pogba in the Friday presser, and we talked about that on our show. And I think the reason for that is that he's been given a slap behind the scenes to say, you've got to stop this attitude. You've got to start talking more positively about your players. In the post-match interviews, total disgrace again. Wouldn't answer. One of the
One of the reporters.
It was B in Sports, wasn't
Yeah.
it? It was one of the Far East ones, the ones that Keys and Gray.
Yeah, work for
it.
Yeah.
He wouldn't answer his questions. I actually thought he was very disrespectful to the reporter. Didn't look at her. Didn't make eye contact. I thought the reporter asked pretty valid questions.
Yeah.
And
but he said you must be really good at your job.
Yes, well, you must be really good at your job. Oh, that's exactly what we want to hear. The manager of Manchester petulance. So we've had a stinker. 4,000 fans have travelled to Brighton, which is a total mission to get to from Manchester on a Sunday, and our manager is gonna basically have a show of petulance after the match. To the reporters that he did show some respect for, he said that I will only now ever talk about my players if I have something positive to say, because if I am criticising of them,
he's starting to insert rules now before you get an answer. And I did say to you, we talked about this during the week, and I said it was only a matter of time before Jose went back to being Jose again, and he did. It took him no time.
But it's not the Jose. Whenever we think about Jose Mourinho, he's reverting back to the type of the current version of Jose Mourinho.
Yeah.
Whenever we think about Jose Mourinho,
when he arrived in English football,
and we were eating out of every word he said. It was
the special one,
and it was just charm after charm after charm. It was just amazing. That's what we wanted with Jose Mourinho. What we've got is his grumpy, grayer, doppelganger.
He looks like a hobo, so he doesn't time. Listen, see before we move on to talk about Crystal Palace and Liverpool, which is why we're here. But I'm actually enjoying talking about Manchester United at this moment in time. Your next game is it away at Spurs?
No, we're home to Spurs.
Home to Spurs, but what the hell are you going to do in that game?
If we lose that, then that's at Old Trafford. I think he goes.
You think he's gone?
I think he goes before the international break.
Serious?
I think he's gone.
Do tell us if you think if you're watching this and you think that Jose is going to go anytime soon, please do let us know.
It's serious.
That's massive.
I think a defeat against Spurs, and Spurs are just they have their own issues because Wembley's been a problem and the new stadium's been a problem. That's upset a lot of fans. But there's no issue with them travelling to a stadium like Old Trafford. Away matches are what they need now to distract themselves from it. But you look at the way they performed in the first couple of games, they're just rock solid. Like they swept Newcastle aside. They managed that game very well. Fulham gave them a good test at Wembley. A lot of uncertainty because they shouldn't be playing there at the minute. And in the end, they just have far too much. And they're going to come to Old Trafford rock solid. And they're a tough unit to beat. It'll be interesting to see what Jose does, because if I could understand in his position, if he wants to keep his job, that he locks it down and even tries to suffocate for a draw, and even maybe nick a 1-0 win. But if that went against him and he's negative again, and perceived to be negative, and we lose 1-0 at home, any defeat, I actually think he's gone. I mean, I think he's gone at the window. I think that's how significant yesterday's performance was, how bad it was. The Leicester performance is only forgotten about because it was a victory. It shouldn't have been a victory. Leicester should have scored at least once.
Yeah, they should have. I think Vardy had a chance, didn't they? Yeah.
He had a big, massive chance. And Chilwell was pretty much given the freedom of Old Trafford. And so I said some of it's Jose's fault, some of it's not. He has not addressed the right-hand side of the pitch in his time at Manchester United. And it is now causing complete disaster in terms of results and performance. But he's also responsible for his style. He's choosing. You think Paul Pogba is thinking 20 minutes to go? Geez, I must have lost. I've now lost all of my technical ability, so now I'm going to chip it up to the big man. Or Luke Shaw's thinking, I must.
No, he's thinking, let's win a 90th minute penalty and I'll slot it away.
They're following instructions. And I suppose what I would say about, which is not Jose Mourinho's fault, is that we're starting to understand, I think, really the problems that we've had in replacing the class of '92.
Yeah.
And the ones that really lasted. The last season we won the Premier League in 2013. Like, Scholes was back out of retirement and he was unbelievable. Like, people don't think about just how good he was. He was utterly. It was like having a mix of like Pirlo and Xavi in centre midfield, just controlling games. And Giggs was still playing very well at age 39. Like, he was still putting in massive shifts. Those guys also, with the likes of Ferdinand and Vidic, who weren't class of 92, but they were big players, they kept the standard so high in that team. The likes of Michael Carrick, who was a very good player, became even better playing with those guys. The whole thing, the way Fergie had the whole thing.
But it's great how you have to think back to recent history now.
5 years,
because you used to give me and all
pelters,
my Man United fans used to say, "Oh,
and it is,
you
yes,
always have to."
It's now full circle.
It's
now full circle, and we're now Liverpool of 1994, 95, where you guys. It's kind of, in a way, what's different about it is you guys were still producing top talent. So you were producing McManaman, Fowler. Owen sort of emerged in '96.
I've never heard of him.
You know, well, you should do. You know, he's one of your best ever strikers. You were producing great players, but and Redknapp was I think he signed from Bournemouth, but you still great young English players. But what you couldn't deal with was the fact that the class of '92, this was just very, very special, and they had a special manager who controlled it all. Yeah. Liverpool kind of. They were struggling to get out of the Souness era and the Dalglish era, and they were just. I reckon Ferguson, and I don't mean this in disrespect to the Gerard Houliers or the Roy Evans. I think Ferguson would have won Premier Leagues with the young Liverpool team of the early to mid '90s. I really do, because you'd ever think Ian Rush was still playing. Would he have been mid-30s at that point? And John Barnes was still playing, but then you had all this precocious talent: McManaman, Redknapp, Fowler, and they just. I think I suppose I'm digressing a wee bit, but I think that the whole momentum that Fergie picked up in whenever the Premier League started, I reckon he could have achieved it with those players. But we are now in a situation where football's obviously in a different place. It's now about how much money you spend. Yeah,
that's it. And we spent the most during the summer, so we'll be looking for a big return on this.
You've spent the most in the summer, but the team is not really different. It's Van Dijk. Okay,
it's not. It's not usually. Let's touch on tonight's starting lineup, and maybe even in advance of that, there's some news breaking this evening that Loris Karius has signed a £2.25 million loan deal with Besiktas. That will become permanent. It's open to Besiktas whether they want to buy him after 2 years. If they do want to buy him, they're going to have to pay a further £7.25 million, which actually means that Liverpool will more than recoup the money that they paid for him. It means that Simon Mignolet will actually be our number 2. Now he's actually been in the last week in protracted talks with both Napoli and Fulham. Neither move came off. Okay, but that's that. We'll move on from that. So the team.
I mean, you wish Karius well.
Yeah, look, I do wish him well.
He was sort of thrown into it a wee bit.
I can't see him back at Liverpool having had the big blunder in the Champions League final.
Yeah, there's a lot of
the pre-season stuff. So I don't see a goalkeeper recovering, particularly not at a club with the stature of Liverpool. And that's just as simple as it gets.
Yeah.
So tonight's team against Crystal Palace, and this has been a difficult hunting ground down the years at times. But if you look at the stats, we've won the last 4.
I don't even have the energy to mock you about the 3-3. I don't even have the life in me.
So tonight we've named exactly the same starting lineup that we put out against West Ham in the 4-0 victory. Jerry, you were saying you don't think Wijnaldum will play on the left. I think you're probably right. He'll play Wijnaldum potentially in the middle with Keita and Milner playing either side, so good spot there. But three-pronged attack, 3 in midfield. Gomez again, partners Van Dijk. Joel Matip, who has been injured, he's actually on the bench tonight. Trent Alexander-Arnold plays right back, Robertson left back. Lovely shape those guys give us. And then Alisson takes his place in goal again. Now, interestingly, big talking point here for Liverpool fans, Fabinho.
Not on the bench?
Not even on the bench. Signing from Monaco. He's had a very difficult pre-season. He struggled, I think, to adapt. That does take time for big players, no matter who you are. But what does that say on tonight? I'm kind of half concerned about that, given that, this to me seemed to be an opportunity where Klopp could have thrown him in early doors to actually establish himself in the Premier League.
Maybe Klopp was thinking that we need to win the match tonight, so I need to have 7 players on the bench that I actually tactically might make a switch with. So if he's not playing well, if he's not gelled or settled in yet, then he's not an option. I don't think he's going to make sentimental selections even on the bench at this stage of the season, because every single point now is vital. You can't. Manchester City are off to a flyer again, and you almost need, you have to have a flyer of your own. I mean, it now seems that Man United, we are just, with one defeat, it just seems like we're miles away from being in the reckoning, but it is 3 points.
Yeah, that's what, so sometimes you do have to kind of pull back to those statistics insofar as you're only 3 points behind, but doesn't necessarily look how you want it to.
The Fabinho thing's interesting. I think if it persists, then
you've got to wonder.
Then you have to wonder. I mean, he's a Champions League player. Monaco had fired them all the way to the semi-final one year whenever Kylian Mbappe was still there. He's played with top-class players, Falcao, as well as Mbappe, and he comes with a massive pedigree. I think if this persists into like September, October, that the guy sort of vanishes, then
you've got to ask big questions.
Going to have to answer. Fans are going to want to know what's going on.
Hopefully, it won't come to that, but it is glaring tonight that he's not about the squad.
Yeah, and that is what has maybe made it an easier decision for Klopp is that Milner's off the flyer.
Yeah,
he's had an excellent game. Somehow he was given man of the match against.
But he was close.
But he was in the top 3 or 4 players.
But Mane scored twice.
But you can't. How do you centre forward or a forward scores twice? And I think that he set up the other one.
Yeah,
it's crazy. And Wijnaldum has been decent.
Yeah.
And it's just how Klopp manages the combination, because you'd think Milner is is a good midfielder. He's maybe the middling one. Wijnaldum is a slightly more attacking one, and Keita is the very defensive one.
Yeah.
So I thought whenever we watched the pre-season match, I think it was the United match, that Keita and Fabinho, they were almost running into the same part of the pitch. Both of them wanted to play very deep. So maybe Klopp is saying, look, as a combination, the 3 in midfield, that's how it works. If Henderson comes back into the team, I think possibly,
where do you go with that? Wijnaldum, maybe?
No, I think Milner comes out, because you need
somebody going forward. I understand that. But again, it's going to be difficult, so it is. And that decision may be taken out of your hands as well, given who picks up an injury or not. Crystal Palace, let's talk Palace. So they've started off convincingly then with a 2-0 win. Wilfried Zaha, he's one to watch now. A couple of Liverpool old hands here. They have Sakho at the back, and things didn't quite work out for him at Anfield. But Benteke, who the big danger man. So Liverpool, particularly Gomez, I'm thinking tonight, will have a job in his hands to keep him.
I think it's going to be more of a test. This is probably the worst time to play Crystal Palace on a Monday night under the lights at Selhurst Park. I think if it's a Saturday 3 o'clock game,
it comes and goes.
It's not as big a pressurised situation, but this is where Crystal Palace are dangerous. It's these nights live on TV, and the massive atmosphere at Selhurst Park for the size of the place. So with Zaha and Townsend, they are going to give Robertson something to think about. Particularly if I think that Townsend will play on the right. He's consistently going to try and cut in on his left foot, which will put Robertson on his weaker side. Yeah. So in the first match this season, Robertson, all he had to do against West Ham was bomb forward, bomb forward, bomb forward. He wasn't put under any pressure. He's going to be put under a bit more pressure today. So guys, look, we're live on YouTube. Subscribe to our channel. Make sure you hit the bell icon. Join in with the chat. So we're getting plenty of comments coming through at the minute. And the best ones will pop across onto our screen. And we do still have a Facebook competition running for the month of August, where you can win either a Liverpool or a Manchester United authentic grade replica shirt with personalisation, name and number of your choosing. All you have to do is go over to our Facebook page, and all the details are there. So we're getting set up here for Crystal Palace against Liverpool. What do you prediction? What do you think?
I think Liverpool will win this by 2-1.
Yeah, I'm going to go 3-1 Liverpool. It's both teams to score for me.
Yeah.
If I was betting tonight, it would be a both teams to score bet.
I think the same. Interestingly, just as they walked out there, it reminded me of the old Castlereagh Park here in Northern Ireland, where they used to have the pom-pom girls on before and at half-time. Alisson coming out right through them. He's waving at all the fans. And you're going, hold on a minute, I don't quite think that you've kind of earned the right to come out with the that adulation. But let's see, Alisson Becker, let's give him a chance to perform as we know he can. We're wearing actually our grey kit, and I really, really like it. And another former Liverpool face here, Roy Hodgson, of course, now the manager at Crystal Palace, and he's got them playing.
Done a good job, Roy. You know, so he's had a very interesting, weird career. You know, because I having watched football for like 20 years or 25 years, Roy Hodgson, you didn't hear of him until much later on in his career, like sort of 2000s really, whenever he became Blackburn manager. He had this massive reputation in Europe. Yeah, but it's all happened late in his career. It's weird. He's almost done it backwards.
The Finnish team at a time, did he? He was certainly.
Yes, you're right. It's definitely Scandinavian. Maybe Norwegian or Finn. I think you're right, actually.
But I don't know. I was never his biggest fan. But look, he comes in, he does a job. He's obviously can cut the grade still at the highest level. So that's why Aaron van Bissaka, who plays right back for Crystal Palace. We were talking about him earlier, weren't we? He's not really one of the well-known players, but we see here that he's joined when he was 11 years of age, so he's been about the club for a long time, and that's what you like to see. That's what I like to see. I don't necessarily want to buy in our talent if we can help it. So really looking forward to this game tonight and seeing how particularly the front three do. Shaqiri again will be a bit frustrated.
Seeing the stat coming up, Naby Keita had 6 goals in the Bundesliga last season. That's more than I'd have thought. But that's not a bad
return for
quite a defensive midfielder. You know?
Yeah.
So Mo Salah as well, shortlisted for European Player of the Year.
Shortlisted today. Modric and Ronaldo, the other two, in the shortlist of 3. You can see why that was the case. 44 goals last season. However,
but the World Cup doesn't have a factor in that. It's
UEFA's. You say that.
You say that. Perception.
Yeah, really? I think it will go on perception, and I think they'll give it to Ronaldo again.
Yeah, but I mean, I was saying perception because Modric is in it, which he's a great player, had a great season. Yeah,
but you see what I'm getting at. You know, I really don't think that Salah is going to contend because of what happened. You know, in the Champions League final and then the World Cup after that. I see it going to Ronaldo again.
For the last time, probably. I think his career will now
tail off a bit.
Juventus won't compete the same way Real Madrid would have competed, and it's kind of the end of that Real Madrid team.
And you know, we've seen they start off okay. Gareth Bale start off with a couple of goals as well.
He now needs to be the man for Real Madrid.
Yeah,
you know, it's now, if he's going to stay, it's now his opportunity to be the Ronaldo figure there. But you know. What about the boxing at the weekend, though? What about big Deontay and the chicken?
Deontay Wilder, eh? Where was that? In Nando's?
Nando's.
Yeah, down in opposite the BBC. Yeah, I did see it, and then I saw Wilder. I was at the fight, at the Fury fight. There's some characters I can tell you that came from Fury's neck of the woods. Some had bought tickets, and some had. By design, ended up in seats where they weren't necessarily supposed to, let's put it that way. But interesting bunch, and see Fury coming out and saying he would love to fight in Belfast again.
Yeah, well, he's always tried to peddle the fact that he's got Irish roots and all that sort of stuff, you know.
Well, look, it was a great evening for boxing in the National Stadium, in a football stadium.
Didn't think that was going to happen.
Haven't done that before. It was well received. There was no trouble in the ground. There was no kind of chanting either way, and everyone was supported right across all the bouts, so really, really good night. Really good night. So let's see how Liverpool settle into this one. I really hope we get the grips with the game early doors.
See, we didn't talk about Van Aanholt. I mean, he's another one that can really get forward from left back. You know, so he's gonna give, you know, Alexander Arnold something to think about.
He is indeed. And Palace have started confidently here, haven't they? You know, they're knocking the ball about the pitch.
Oh dear. I was lucky. Somehow managed to get away from that Sakho. That was very, very dangerous from Crystal Palace's point of view. It's two teams that want to play attacking football, and that is why I think this is going to be a good match.
That's good defending from Robertson. I really rate Robertson, but what about this?
Keita?
That was Keita into Salah. Salah tries a shot, but Good defending.
It's rare that you see Salah crowded out like that. But as soon as he got the ball in his favoured position, it was 2 defenders straight onto him.
He knows he had a half chance there, Salah. That'll annoy him. Here's Keita.
That's what you want your midfielder to do. Release the forward, you know, when he's accelerating forward.
Just the 44 goals last season.
Oh, this is just so open. I mean, it's only a bad ball that time has stopped Mane getting in this time. Already you have to think that this is going to be, there's goals in this game.
There's definitely goals in it. Do get in touch, guys, via the chat function.
Is there any way that a draw becomes, you know, is anything other than a win like a disappointment tonight? I think the answer is yes, based on the way you started this season.
I know why you're saying that. That's a horrific cross by Trent Alexander-Arnold, and that's why I said to you he's got talent, but he's still got a lot to learn. You know, he tried to play in what was kind of like a sensationalist type cross when he could have got the ball down and swung it in. But you mentioned about us, if we drew tonight, would that be a downer for us? Yeah, probably. Yeah, I think it would. I think we would be somewhat annoyed if we did draw. We want to keep this run going. I mean, we lost just one game in pre-season, and then we've come into this as well. So, you know, for Liverpool, we've scored 4 goals without replying the first game, and then we want to follow it up. It's just as simple as that. So,
what are the fixtures like over the next couple of weeks? Have you got any big game coming up? Because it's Brighton. You play Brighton next.
Yeah,
and
it's
then
Brighton next.
Then international break.
Yeah. So after that, I'm not too sure. I just know that City have a run of about 6 games against, you know, who we would term to be maybe the lower half of the table. So Man City actually have a chance of getting off to an incredible start to the campaign, and I see them doing it. It's a bit, you know, for us as Liverpool and Manchester United fans watching on, it's ominous. It is indeed. Referees under spotlight in recent times, but Michael Oliver continues to be consistent, doesn't he? I think he's good. Always.
Well, he's talked about as being the top referee in the league. You know, I don't know. They used to talk about Clattenburg as being like the top referee in the league, and I never saw it. I thought the guy was his own greatest publicist, and he made some very you know, like they all make bad decisions, and they need help and they need technology. That's my belief, is that technology should be enabling referees to make better decisions. VAR in its current format doesn't do that.
No,
by the way, even though it's definitely coming in. But I think Oliver manages games quite well. He's you know, it's very rare that he.
He makes a big blipper that's actually a standout one of the weekend. It's a real difficult position. I wouldn't thank you for it. But I do think back to, I think the best referee in my time has been Pierluigi Collina, and what he introduced to the game, in my opinion, was that ability to let the move develop even after the foul had happened, and then and only then at that stage did he, if it broke down thereafter, you know, he blew the whistle and he pulled it back. And I think that referees, after he's exited the game, and I think he took up some high-ranking refereeing role at FIFA, that they tried to adopt the same style, and that's what I think sets you know, average referees apart from really good ones.
And where referees are let down by football is that football is just so arrogant the way it, you know, evolves and changes the rules. You know, they don't seem to draw down on other sports. I mean, the way they've made a total mess of VAR. You know, they didn't consult with rugby, which blows my mind. You know, because they have this sorted, and it would have been a much smoother transition for VAR to come in. We don't, you know, they got Hawkeye in for
they've got it
in goal line technology
for the tennis, didn't they?
Which is from tennis.
Yeah.
But what amazes me is that why don't they try to put that across the full perimeter of the pitch? That would then make the referee and the linesman stressed out to a lesser extent, and being able to focus on the tougher human decisions.
It's a difficult one because, you know, you've got to think of all those formats. You've got cricket as well, which is the minutiae of detail. You know, you've kind of got loads of technology there, hotspot, but I'm sure that there were greater minds, and certainly myself, involved round the table, and you're thinking to yourself, well, surely they should have not only consulted, but taken lessons learned from the other sports. But the way in which VAR was used at the World Cup, that's not how I see it being used going forward. And actually, if anything, I saw it disrupting a lot of games, because there's a lot of players who, when the move broke down, they kind of just gesticulated, you know, go to VAR, go to VAR. And I think the way to actually stop that would be to introduce the likes of your 3 challenges that they have in tennis now. So it comes in one format, and actually I think they develop it by maybe it's the captain who gets 1 of those a game or 2 a game, because other than that, where does it begin and end?
Well, what you see, to me, what I would worry about that is that, you know, that someone will make an argument and say, but on average, right, after a season, if we had a 4th challenge, then that would have wiped out 25% of bad decisions. Someone will always make a statistical argument and twist it in their favour. To me, VAR has to be an eye in the sky that's always on. And what certainly can't happen is you can't expect a referee, you know, to go over to look at an iPad or like a whatever it is, some sort of tablet, and review an incident in slow motion or fast motion or whatever under the pressure of like 60,000 people. No. He's actually only going to make a worse decision than he did.
And that was proven in the World Cup final. Because if you remember, what happened was, and I was absolutely incensed by this, that they actually showed the referee only the 0.5 second before the move happened. So it was when the cross was coming in to the box, the defender was right behind the France player, and what happened then, he couldn't get out of the road, and it's still, the slower that they made it, the more it looked as if it was
provides
deliberate.
Evidence that it was deliberate.
And actually, if they had taken that back 2 seconds beforehand and shown that actually the defender had nowhere to go, that he was actually backing himself, that the ball wasn't going to get beyond them, you know, they wouldn't have had the penalty. They wouldn't have had the penalty award.
And to me, what I would do with VAR is it would be an eye in the sky, a bit like they have in rugby. I would try to copy as much of the rugby format, nearly a half-decent chance. First time we've seen Robertson get forward and deliver a cross. But what I would do is, if a referee gives a penalty, what do they do whenever a try is scored? If there's lots of players falling over each other and it's hard to see if the ball's been grounded, the referee tends to ask, can I award the try? Which means he's not sure if the ball's been grounded. And I need a technical help from the eye in the sky. If it is a more clear-cut try or incident, he'll say the other question is there any reason I can't award the try? So have I missed something here fundamental to this move? Now, you know, if anyone's watching who is into rugby, it's not my massive sport. That's my understanding of how the questioning works.
No, that is. I think you've got it.
No, but the referee is still the man in charge. So Nigel Owens is still the man in charge on the pitch, right? But what he's doing is he's using technology to enable him to make a better decision. What he doesn't do is, does Nigel Owens ever run over and look at an iPad of some like off the ball incident or whatever like that? No. He relies on the advice from
he does. Sometimes you will get the big screens in rugby grounds, which is slightly different. So actually it'll be played out on the big screen again. So,
well, I think it's a different. Like, I think we have to accept that rugby's a different sport.
Yeah,
it's a different audience.
But you've got to take the best lessons learned from the other sports. I think that's what we're both getting at.
But if a guy goes down the box and the referee thinks that's a penalty, and it was just one person tackling him, it wasn't a whole medley of players, why does he not have technology, an eye in the sky, and being able to say, is there any reason why I can't award this penalty? Have I missed something, or have I missed something in a previous move that I should have stopped the game beforehand?
What's telling is that they haven't introduced it here yet.
It's coming, though. Like, it's next year.
I know it's coming, but they still don't feel. Now there's been consultation after consultation for the last few years about this.
Yeah.
And still they haven't got it nailed down. And even though they used it in the World Cup, the Premier League being what the Premier League is, the money involved, etc., they still feel that it needs even more fine tuning, and I think they're right.
It's FA Cup really as well. I mean, it's in the FA Cup, and it's going to be in the League Cup. Is that right as well? But it's current. Is it needed in the sport? Yes.
I think it is.
Technology is absolutely needed. I mean, if you think look at how advanced football is in terms of the branding, the marketing, the money, the finances, all that kind of stuff. The fitness of the training facilities, stadia these days are world class venues. But the rules of football and how the rules are governed haven't really changed in 100 years.
No, they haven't.
The passback happened. That was 92.
haven't massively changed.
It hasn't moved on.
And then what now? You can actually play the ball forward, is it, from the...
You can go straight backwards.
You can go straight forwards, that's it. And you used to have two people in the centre circle, but now you can just have one.
It's because it can go straight back, so you used to have to knock the ball forward so somebody else
I don't know what the big benefit of that is, but...
Why was that ever?
But a strange one. But, yeah, and then we get a reinterpretation of the offside rule once every 4 or 5 years as well.
Yeah, and that they would... To me, that would be something that I would invest in technology. So there has got to be... we know there's technology there that you could actually do. You could actually have 2 lines on a computer screen that would be able to calculate whether someone's offside or not, and it would be done in real time. And it means that the assistant referee isn't being thrown under the bus by making marginally bad decisions. Like, no human eye could possibly see some of the offside decisions that we're expecting him to make.
No, I think you're right, but
he would, if he was freed up, if the assistant referee is freed up to help the referee, to assist the referee to make the tough human decisions, off the ball incidents, penalties, all that kind of stuff. I think they're far too stressed out with jobs that we could get technology to do.
Yeah, it's a difficult one to call because there's part of me is a purist and I want the game to remain as pure as it can be. I don't want intervention for the most part, but in saying that, the amount of decisions down the years that have, cost, teams, games, tens of millions of pounds because they've gone down ultimately, into the championship, etc., I think there does have to be some kind of outside influence, and I think like you, it is just a matter of time until they bring this in. It's whether then they bring it in and there are some tweaks that then are needed to be brought in alongside that after season 1. Do they have like another, do they do an end of year report? I think they probably will and tweak it again. I suppose what I'm saying is I don't think how they bring it in initially will be how it will last or how it'll move on.
It's got to constantly evolve that,
and
it has to improve. There's just too much. There's too much at stake, and there's too much opposition to it.
Yeah.
And it's far too. It's so controversial. It's something that should come in and make a positive difference, but it's too. It's supposed to take opinion out of it, but all it's doing is adding more opinion.
Yeah.
And creating more opinion.
Actually, yeah. No.
So this really, after the first 5 minutes, was kind of both teams on the front foot. Crystal Palace have now readjusted. They are sitting way back as Mane bursts
Liverpool, you look there and the areas where all the action is happening. Crystal Palace thought they'd actually conceded a corner kick there. Liverpool didn't get the decision, but the action areas, the action areas are 68% right inside the centre circle, and either side of that. Liverpool, I would say, holding possession, just as you said, and then about 28% then in the Crystal Palace box. So we're really seeing Liverpool put Palace under pressure at home here. Palace started as if they were, you know, bossing as the home team, and that's what you like to see if you are the home team. They started with confidence against Liverpool here, but Liverpool growing. But we really need to get the first goal.
It's just strange. Palace did. I think Palace maybe started off the 5 minutes and thinking, you know what, we could actually, you know, attack is the best form of defence here. But Hodgson has maybe changed after the first 5 minutes when he saw how easy it was for Liverpool to hit passes through his defensive line. So there's definitely a conscious decision now. There's 2 clear banks of 4 for Crystal Palace, but again, Salah had a bit of an opening there. He's not looked 100% sharp so far, Salah.
And if you remember, I think the first time we've seen him following the World Cup, I haven't. I would have to say that that's how he's looked from the World Cup. You know, I don't see him looking
100%
as sharp as he did do last season, and who knows, that might come. But
I was watching Soccer AM on Saturday, and Mamadou was on. You know,
ex-Spurs,
and Middlesbrough, an Egyptian player, and he was asked about Salah and he what's it like for him when he goes home or anything like that. Bit of a chance taken there defensively, but it's just reasonable football. He just said it's like a god.
Is it right? Okay.
In Egypt, whenever he goes home, quite literally a god returning home.
I did see Mamadou trying to do a couple of volleys.
Here, I tell you what,
I think he's lost it.
I'll tell you what, he's not lost his appetite since he retired.
Well, you know.
The
but did you see him swinging with a left peg?
Yeah, it was too much for him, wasn't it?
He really broke down. So it is.
But then, you know, Jimmy Bullard comes in and he's like buzzing around all this energy, and he obviously is just super fit still.
Yeah.
Massive golfer as well, Jimmy Bullard, a superb golfer. But he's just going buzzing in. He's trying to save it. He goes, let me have a go. Mamadou, it was awful.
He wasn't good. I did watch some of that. So Liverpool, I mean, this is very easy for us, you know, in terms of ball retention.
Yeah, but Palace have had a change of heart here after the first 5 minutes. They're now sitting right back. You know, 0-0 for them is an excellent result.
That's a good ball in from Arnold, but he's going to get
balls in the back of the net, but it's not going to count. No. Don't know about this.
Do you think maybe the Palace players ran into each other?
Yeah. Not much of a complaint from Mane.
Yeah. No, I'm happy that was ruled out. Yeah. If you watch Mane and his connection here, like, he's not getting the ball there, so actually he takes the keeper out.
Yeah, he's taking the keeper out.
Yeah. So I'm happy enough for that. But Mane again. He could be our man this season.
You see, and that's a very good setup for you, because last season he was in the shadows a wee bit, and I think it showed sometimes in his performances that he felt that he was under pressure, that he had to perform, and Salah was just having this like wonder season. But if Salah actually gets off to a slower start, you know, that Mane then has already got 2 goals and assists, you know, so as one of them dips off in form, the other one picks up form. It's potentially amazing.
Absolutely phenomenal statistic. Our front 3 tonight from last season scored 91 goals. 91 goals between them. That's crazy good, isn't it? I'm liking this grey Liverpool strip as well. Just happens to be the one that I've purchased.
That's a good idea from Benteke, but it's just not.
Here's back with Alisson. Let's see what he does.
Oh,
my
nice.
goodness!
I mean, that's so good from Keita, just to nip away. I mean, he's gained the team 50 yards.
Oh my goodness me! That would have been an unbelievable goal from Salah. So is that one last season he would have finished?
Yeah, it's a bit.
The first touch is
amazing. He's a bit rusty, but look at that from Keita. That is absolutely incredible. Turns on a sixpence and is able to drive forward like 40 yards. Tell you, if that's under Herrera, that pass is going straight back. So he passed, Ander Herrera passed that back to the goalkeeper there.
Yeah.
You know, that spin away.
But it's dangerous at the same time. Now look at the take. The take from Salah was absolutely incredible over the top of his head. But when he got in on goal, I mean, he lifted it about 3 times as high as he needed to.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good chance for me. Yeah. I mean, he set us off against West Ham in our first game. But, don't know. Plenty of time yet. Liverpool look so fluent when they come forward, don't they?
On the break, yeah.
He needed to give that ball earlier. Who was it on the overlap? It was Milner.
Milner on the overlap.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing about Milner. Like he's a good player, but he's got an engine. He can still burst forward. He's disciplined, but he can burst forward whenever the counter attack's on. It has surprised me how it's worked out for Milner. I thought it was a sort of a retirement home whenever he move, and he played left back a lot of the season in the first season.
But look, often those sort of guys who are versatile don't get the credit that they deserve, and he's certainly one of those because there's really not a lot of positions.
Okay, they'd given that ball. I think he was meaning to pass it back to Robertson. That is the time he tried to pass it back. Oh, off the bar from Townsend.
That was an incredible effort by Townsend.
It's going to be a corner, isn't it?
Yeah.
Deflected wide.
That was a bad.
Well, I don't know.
Keita expected him to move, but
I think Van Dijk. He expected Van Dijk to step forward.
Yeah, but Van Dijk had no right to win the ball.
Oh, what an effort that is from Townsend! What an effort!
Incredible.
He was almost going away from goal.
Yeah.
Towards his own goal before he whipped his foot around that one.
Best effort of the game so far. That.
This is massively against the run of play. This would just be lovely.
No, it wouldn't.
That's easy.
That's where you want your goalkeeper to come.
But that's a poor kick, like basically chipping it into the middle.
And we're now just outside their 18-yard box, so it just shows you how quickly. Go on.
It's a good ball.
It's Alexander-Arnold. Chips it towards the back post, but the ball's not good enough again. Keep an eye on that tonight. Alexander-Arnold, when he gets the ball, particularly into the final third, I don't think he's there yet. I really don't. I know he gets a lot of credit and he does a lot of things right and he's young, etc., etc.
But he's right-footed and he wanted to, a couple of times he's wanted to cut in on the left-hand side, you know.
Yeah.
So, which is strange. Normally that happens if you're the opposite foot.
Yeah, well, and again, maybe I am being a little harsh on him, but I think he's got a bit to learn. So Firmino's dropping deep here.
It's kind of, it's another one that's fired into the middle and it's a bad touch, but you're half a touch away from it being
from a goal. Yeah.
Crystal Palace are living very dangerously here, defensively.
This is where, if you come to the ground and you're a Crystal Palace fan, it's a Monday night, you've brought your son for the first time, and they come out all guns blazing, and then by midway through the first half, they're just camped inside their own half, and you go to yourself, oh my goodness, this isn't what I expected to come and see. But I suppose as long as it remains 0-0, Palace very much still in it, and until Liverpool kind of turn the screw and get that first goal, I'll be on the edge of my seat anyway. There's Arnold, now into Salah. Gets a bit of...
Bound to be a goal here.
No, didn't fancy the wrong side.
Didn't go across the goalkeeper.
The wrong side for Keita there, so his left foot.
He seems to want to play a lot on the left-hand side of the midfield. You still, even though if it's a 3-man midfield, you still expect a midfielder to span across the centre of the pitch. But he's been on the left-hand side most of the match.
Very much so, yeah. So it was a pretty easy save in the end, I thought, for Wayne Hennessy, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you're disappointed if there's an issue with that one.
Only the second corner of the game.
And Trent Alexander-Arnold's taking it.
Right, well, let's see what he can produce.
A very deep one.
Yeah. He must be trying that ball around the back. That was Van Dijk, wasn't it?
The atmosphere has surprised me, but it's not as
vociferous, is it?
It's not as raucous as I thought it was going to be. Now, they were up after the Townsend crossbar, but generally it's not been, it's not been the same
intensity and tempo, probably.
But maybe the fans are expecting a different performance that they're not seeing.
If I'm a Crystal Palace fan, I'm saying to myself, Liverpool started brilliantly. They brought in all these players, so this is going to be one of the teams and vying for the top spot. So you're not going to get it all your own way. Their game plan is to sneak a 1-0. But they're sitting back so far at this minute in time. We haven't seen a lot of Zaha so far.
It's been odd. I mean, that's really the first time we saw Townsend with the crossbar hit. It's not gone the way I expected this match to go. I thought there'd be much more width from Palace. And to really test Robertson and Trent Alexander-Arnold a bit more than they have done. It's nice from Mane.
Yeah, one touch too many in the end. Whatever happened, Zaha at Manchester United? Why was that never a good fit? Is this a guy who looked in stages, particularly, whenever he got a run in the team, that he could do something? He always has that bright spark about him, flare of brilliance.
Yeah, it was weird. Another player that came in at that time and sort of, upset that potential was Januzaj. He had this massive. He got off the flyer and then really didn't crack on from there, and that kind of, we'd already won sort of luxury winger on the pitch, and Zaha was, he didn't have any defensive responsibilities, and
they do fancy it from distance, don't they?
Yeah. So it was just, I don't know, it was just a Moyes thing. Like, it didn't work out, and Moyes was sort of trapped between the previous Ferguson team and trying to bring some new players in and a new approach, but at the same time had to get results. Every single result was scrutinised, and it ended up being nothing really in the end. Most of the big teams swept us away. So Man City, I think we lost 3-0 to Chelsea away. I think Man City beat us 3-0 at Old Trafford. I think we lost 1-0 away to Man City. I think the record against the top 4 or top 5 or 6 teams is very, very poor. Everton, of course, beat us 2-0, and that was signalled the end for him. Oh, that's a great
challenge by Gomez.
Yeah,
Gomez as well.
And it's the first time that really Palace, that stayed in, hit off the corner flag.
And we've won it.
It's the first time the Palace have really turned Liverpool and got the defenders moving in the other direction.
First big test for Gomez, and he's come out on top. It's good to see. Really good to see. But no, I like Zaha. Wasn't he at Palace beforehand? Was that right? Was he at Palace? And then he went to United.
Signed from Palace, yeah.
And then back again. Is that how it went? I think it was. But he's a guy who, again, you look back on your career and you go, did he really, have the impact that he should have done? I think it's a chance wasted for him.
A lot of these players are still living in Ronaldo's shadow, and these are sort of these fancy kind of winger style players that are supposed to have amazing end product, score goals, do everything, become that sort of leading player on the wing. And they've all struggled. We haven't had one that's come in really and taken that mantle on. And there've been more than you will remember. Like Memphis Depay. Remember, he was signed.
Yeah. Got
off to a half decent start in his United career, but then just became dreadful. Had a bit of a public spat with Louis van Gaal, and Di Maria came in. Remember him?
Di Maria, yeah. The drink, isn't it?
Yeah.
Liverpool guilty of overplaying it here, in my opinion. Bobby Firmino, the ball came into him, and he tried to do this wee dink, to set somebody else up, rather than actually do something that had a bit more dynamism about it, and that's why we've hardly tested the goalkeeper here.
No, the interesting thing is what's happening is if both teams were attacking each other like they were in the first 5 minutes. Liverpool want that to happen so they can hit on the break. Now what Palace have done is they've decided, you know what, our setup now is going to be that we're the counter-attacking team, and this is not actually familiar territory for Liverpool to get past teams to do this. You know, West Ham kind of did nothing last weekend.
Yeah. But then this is hopefully going to tell us a bit more about this Liverpool side for this season.
Defence?
Exactly.
Which you can.
So possession, we've had 65% possession, and I mean that it has shown at times, but we haven't done anything with it, which is a worry. But what I'd say about that is, you know, it stays this way, I would be tempted to throw on Shaqiri.
One thing's for sure is that at the minute you don't need three midfielders sitting in two of them in defensive positions or with all this responsibility. Again, there's Keita very much on the left-hand side, which I think's interesting because maybe is one of the problems. It's Fabinho. Does he want to play in this position as well? We've seen it. Even United, there's problems where two players are trying to run into the same space. Pogba and Sanchez trying to occupy the same space in the pitch.
Become very pedestrian in pace, and I think that's suiting Palace.
It's gone back. He kept that in. That's poor from Robertson. Yoo-hoo! Out of the stadium, that one. That's away back.
It's away into central London.
That's away into Croydon, that one.
Boom. No, he needs to get over it a bit more. But no, as we slow the pace of the moves down, it's suiting Crystal Palace because they can get players in behind.
And also, it doesn't suit you guys.
No,
you guys are fast, frenetic on the break. And I think it's maybe taken you guys by surprise that they've now decided to sit off. I think, expected them to attack more, and then it would have created more openings than it has done.
But I definitely, and I know we're only 35 minutes in, but if I'm Klopp, I'm thinking to myself, creativity. So who have we got here?
Shaqiri.
Yeah.
Maybe would be clever.
Shaqiri. Sturridge, of course, is another option, albeit he'd play further up. But I do think Shaqiri for either Wijnaldum. I haven't seen this game. Have you? Not a lot of him?
No, not a lot at all.
Not enough. Keita's been good.
Yeah, he's been a bit of a standout player. Yes, he had that mistake where it nearly cost a big opportunity, but he has had a very, very solid game. I still think I can understand why he passed the ball back there. He's half expecting Van Dijk to step forward, half expecting Robertson to have continued his run.
But he's called it wrong, and he's given Van Dijk what for. If I'm Van Dijk, I'm going. The player was in front of me. You shouldn't be giving the ball there because you put us under pressure, and that kind of.
But it was funny because in the previous move he spun away.
Yeah. But that's still dangerous.
It is dangerous.
It was very dangerous.
It's such great awareness.
They anticipated the man coming on and then swiveled past him. But another day, the attacker robs him. That's poor.
That's the first poor one, really.
He's been good though.
And it's trying to force a pass that's not there. It's interesting because maybe Firmino is now going to have to play higher up the pitch. He's going to have to play right up against the central defenders, where normally what Firmino does is he drops off, and the other two then cut in. Yeah. Particularly if you're getting a chance to. I mean, there's a guy doing that as well, Gareth Southgate. Particularly if you are getting the opportunities to hit on the break. Yeah. But in order to do that, you need the other team to attack. So I'm a wee bit surprised at how the match has panned out so far.
Me too.
I definitely saw 2 or 3 goals in the first half.
Yeah.
But it's become a cagey, tight affair.
And this is the sort of game where we, in recent seasons, have not pushed on. This is where I feel we really do need to grab the bull by the horns here, get a goal, rather than kind of limping over the line. And, the more time we have in this game, you say the cagier it gets, and Crystal Palace could nick one, and
we managed to keep that in.
Yeah, and lo and behold, they're heading back up to Anfield with their tails between their legs.
But Benteke did not believe that he was going to keep the ball in play and then gave up on the move. Better ball from MacArthur, who's done very little in the first half.
Now Zaha, lovely footwork.
Nah.
Too much. And they've been guilty of that at times, Crystal Palace as well.
But I mean, Benteke, if he didn't, he did not anticipate that the Crystal, his player was going to keep that in play, to cut that back.
That was part of my frustration in his time at Anfield. So it was.
Sky smacker. You gonna start kissing soon?
No, I wouldn't think it like. Maybe. Glad you're watching along. Sky Smacker, give us your thoughts. What do you think of the game so far? I take it you're a Liverpool fan if you are. Let us know what you think we need to do to get the points here. Klopp, in my opinion, he needs to change things up. I know people say it's a bit early, and yeah, get us to half time. I think he should bring on Shaqiri. Bring him on. Take off somebody like Milner.
Oof, big tackle going in there from Trent Alexander-Arnold. Milner actually.
Yeah, it was Milner. Yeah.
Away goes Robertson. Space to move into. Oh, it's poor from Mane's first touch. It's the final ball has been the letdown, but a lot of it is because you're not building the attacks that you're comfortable building, which are these big rangy counter-attacks.
But what's that? Is that a shot? I think
no,
it is a shot.
I think he took a bad first touch.
You think so?
It went behind him and he was trying to cross it.
This is where Milner got frustrated. He actually got the ball. He did get the ball. Zaha didn't like the challenge. He's still going on at him. He's nothing if not wholehearted, James Milner. That's one thing I'll say. He'll not shirk a challenge. He's got the armband tonight. So perhaps with that in mind, Klopp was maybe less likely to take him off. But it wouldn't stop me. Palace free kick. So, I mean, scoreless. I'd like to see Liverpool going in with at least a goal to show for their efforts in the first half.
I suppose I'm surprised about the way Palace have gone about this game, but maybe we shouldn't be that surprised with Roy Hodgson. He is a defensive, cagier manager. Another opportunity to break away.
This time.
Liverpool's
players, cutting frustrated figures out there, they've got to learn that, they're going to have to start chipping away at teams. Especially Keita there, he's getting totally up in arms.
Goalkeeper comes out for that one. Just
for goodness sake.
He's offside.
He has to be offside because you see this protection of the goalkeepers. It started 10, 15 years. Do you remember? You ever see some old footage, from the late 70s, early 80s, and they used to be able to basically bundle the keepers into the net without any. Now, obviously, that wasn't right, and I wouldn't be condoning that in this day and age. But they've become such a protected species. I don't like it.
So another attack has been thwarted by the referee. See, is he saying it's a late tackle? So that's the first yellow card out.
Yeah, is that retribution as well for the earlier challenge by Milner on Zaha? And he's seen a bit of that in his Van Arnholt. He has gone in pretty sharp.
It's a strong tackle.
It's a strong tackle, but his eyes are on the ball.
I don't think that's a foul, if I'm being honest.
His eyes are on the ball.
But the referee's been aware of the Milner situation, and that has influenced what's happened there.
Right down that line.
Yellow card's harsh for that, isn't it?
I think so, but he should have got a yellow card for his haircut, to be fair. Look at the hair. Like, is he paid to get that hair done that way? There's Ronald Koeman. Now Dutch. Coach. Decent footballer in this.
the Netherlands are in a total mess.
They've got
an international team, aren't they? Like a total
You think
mess.
back to the days of Van Basten and Kluivert and all those guys.
But they've always produced a team that got to finals.
They can't even qualify.
Can't qualify.
No.
Yeah.
It's a strange phenomenon.
It's a very poor
period
for them in terms of like the quality of players.
But what is happening? Because they've always had that kind of
production line,
forward-looking, Ajax.
Weird.
And the likes. Gomez stayed forward, so Liverpool need to be cautious here. That's good. That's good. That's good tidying up from Liverpool. I like that. What a ball.
Again, it's just it's a couple of touches, or what are really letting you down.
Yeah, it's just, you can see the ideas, we just haven't been able to execute tonight so far. And we've really struggled to work the goalkeeper, which I'm annoyed about, but let's see. Firmino into Salah. And
He's
Salah
given a
brought down.
penalty. Oh, come on, ref. Oh, come on. Let's have a look at this again.
Now, what's Salah saying here?
How theatrical is this? He barely touches him. Come on.
What do I say now? He's got his arms all over him for a start.
I think there's more of a trip on the leg here if you look. Goes down in installments. Like, what are we?
We'll take it. Two guys who know each other pretty well. And Salah, he's been surrounded by them as well. But anyway.
So Milner, yeah.
Milner's stepping up.
Yeah.
It's a strange one if you think about it. Bobby Firmino on the pitch.
Anyone, Salah, Mane, you got. But yeah, it's tucked away. My goodness.
Lovely penalty in terms of how he slotted that home. Sakho, thanks very much. It's not the lead that I wanted for Liverpool to have at halftime. I'll take it.
Look at Roy Hodgson's
I'll take
face.
it.
It's not been the half that I expected from either team's performance. Didn't think it was going to be a gritty 1-0, even at half time.
So you can see Sakho has an arm over him, doesn't he?
It's his right leg.
You think it's a leg that ultimately wins?
Ultimately, it's a trip.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's one of those ones that's so soft that you need to have a look at it from 10 different angles.
Tell me, we talked a minute ago about Milner taking a penalty. If you're a centre forward, Mo Salah, he's won the penalty, scored 44 goals last season. He wants to, get near that figure again. Are you not a bit pissed off that, that somebody who's not an individual who you would deem to be, a good finisher, that he's actually coming up and taking a penalty?
I'm always amazed whenever strikers or forwards don't want to take penalties, or they're not. That must be a strategic decision.
Oh, it would have to be. It would have to be.
But he's missed two. That graphic said he's missed two in his.
Yeah, since taking it for Liverpool.
Yeah, for Liverpool.
Yeah.
So it's not like he's a perfect record that keeps him in the job.
Mm-hmm. It's a strange one for me. So just to sum the first half up, from a Liverpool perspective, we'll take going in at 1-0. I think we've stuttered. I think that's kind of the theme for the first half. We've come out of the blocks. Crystal Palace, I think, should have stuck with their game plan because they were putting us under pressure in the first 5 or so minutes. But Liverpool grew into the game. But we haven't had any really cutting edge. I think Keita he's threatened in terms of what he's done. He's always been buzzing about looking the ball, and he's looked the most likely to create an opportunity. The one good chance that we had before the penalty was when Salah took a great pass from Keita. It was I mean, the first touch is out of this world. It's so good, but then that's where I don't see that Salah's confidence is back where it has been.
Yeah, he's just not 100% sharp.
Yeah.
And really, the problem, if there has been one, is the final ball. And I think you're slightly surprised by the fact that Palace changed strategy. So they went back to adjustment by Crystal Palace, and I don't know if you're a team that threads, passes through the lines and stuff. I think you're a team that overpowers teams on the pace and on the break, and that from a United point of view, but that's a marginal one, that one, and it's annoying if you're raging if you're Roy Hodgson, absolutely raging, because although they adjusted their style to be more defensive and more solid in the first half, he's thinking, if I get in at 0-0 here, that's an achievement.
I think
the plan's working.
I think he's 99% of his pre-match plan has worked out there, bar that penalty right near the end. Hodgson has set his side out well. He knows what he needs to counteract, and that's why he set the team up as such. And I think all in all, they've defended pretty well at the back. So they have Sakho and Tompkins in the centre. I would like to see more from Crystal Palace though, and that's something that I would say Roy is going to stress here. They had one kind of snapshot from Townsend from distance, and it came rattling back off the crossbar. It was a great effort. But Benteke
doesn't offer much.
No, he hasn't really got into the game, has he?
And if you're going to play that defensively, then you need an out ball, and he is the guy that's got to go up against Gomez, because he's trying to lean more against Gomez than Van Dijk, because Van Dijk will probably overpower him, but he offers very little. He's very immobile. He's quite. He's like a big lighthouse.
I think you've hit the nail on the head with that description, and he is one. I think he likes to be he plays like a 10 in many respects, because he drops in. He doesn't like that ball over the top.
No, he's no pace to.
So has he ever had it? I'm not even sure he has.
Yeah, but at the same time, if he wants to play that role where he's the final touch, he can't give up on it whenever his right back, busts a gut to keep the ball in play, goes to the cutback, and Benteke, he pretty much has given up, thinks it's a goal kick.
Yeah.
So that it's the worst of both worlds with Benteke at the minute. He's not really offering Crystal Palace anything.
He had that game. He scored twice against us. So he's one to be watched, but he's more so, I think, a fox in the box these days. Whereas beforehand, he would have come up with the real sensational type goals.
Yeah.
Zaha, again, he's cut a frustrated figure, hasn't he? Because things haven't gone his way in that opening half. He's had a couple of glimpses where you can see he's got quick, nimble feet, and he's got the skill. But beyond that, I think Trent has dealt with him.
They've been all right.
Well.
Again, they're not massively being tested. The two fullbacks for Crystal Palace aren't getting forward with the regularity, and that's a tactical decision. Hodgson is saying that really you guys are going to be staying in your own half for most of this match. But it's good news for the game that Liverpool have taken the lead, because I think now Crystal Palace have to come out. There's no point in them being this solid. There's no point in them being this compact and this defensive. And Schlupp and the other boy at right back. Schlupp particularly, he scored last week against Fulham, so he's got plenty to offer in the attacking sense. Or sorry, Van Arnholt.
Van Arnholt is the left back. Yeah. Schlupp just ahead of him.
Schlupp ahead of him, and Townsend and Zaha. They've just so much to offer.
Yeah.
And that's the way the first 5 minutes looked like it was going.
Yeah.
Just take a look at this penalty again. Again, we're watching it in super slow motion. So watch the right foot.
But you look at the right arm for me. That's the right arm is all over Salah, and Salah's balance is already off.
It's there. It's that.
Yeah.
That's he's lost his footing with that trip. I don't know. It's just
small margins, mate. But actually, look, he extends that right foot out further. Sakho does, and there's no reason, in my opinion, why Salah wouldn't pull the trigger there if he had the opportunity to.
it's just one of those ones. It's just so disappointing to see it. You know what? Michael Oliver has probably got that right to the letter of the law.
Yeah.
To the letter of the law, it's a penalty. But we are having to. You're having to take that right down to like hyper slow motion to see the incident. And it is on the softer side, but Michael Oliver's probably got the decision right there. And as you said earlier, he's a good referee. He doesn't get many things wrong.
Yeah. One of the things we talked about as the game was coming towards the
goalkeeper just falls over for that penalty as
well. Yeah, it was well dispatched. He actually threw it in the face of us because Milner comes up. He's missed 2 penalties. We're going, what the hell? Why is Milner coming up to take it? And he just so confident into the corner. Keeper goes the opposite way. I talked in the first half, if this game had remained scoreless, there was a chance, in my opinion, that actually Shaqiri might have been brought on early in the second half. Now, knowing Klopp, as we all do, since he's been in the Premier League, he loves that fast, dynamic pace, particularly of those front three. He'll want to turn 1-0 into 2-0 into 3-0. But does that mean actually sticking or twisting?
No, I think he will wait and see how Crystal Palace come out in the second half, because they are going to have to change strategy, you would think. And it becomes a different scenario for a sub like Shaqiri, where I reckoned if Klopp was trying to win the match, if it was 0-0, Shaqiri might actually come on somewhere like in centre midfield. Because if it becomes this game of having to thread really tight passes, he's the sort of player that can open up defences. We're at 1-0 to Liverpool, where Shaqiri will come on now is he'll replace Salah in the second half, maybe like the 70th minute, because Salah just doesn't look
No, he
fit.
doesn't look totally match fit just
He
yet.
doesn't look the Salah that everyone knows. So that it becomes an opportunity for Shaqiri to be fresh legs out in the wing.
Just trying to see throughout our other, the other people on the bench as well. We've got Hendo there. I don't see any reason just to bring Hendo on for the sake of it just yet. And we have Moreno, and you know what I think of Moreno. Lallana is actually somebody who may get game time here in the second half.
Yeah, and a guy who his Liverpool career is just diluting. And a lot of it is injuries, and it's not. So it's certainly not his fault if he's injured, but even when he comes back and he's fully fit, I don't think he factors in massively. I don't think
No.
Liverpool. I don't think you, as a Liverpool fan, are excited. It's okay. Lallana's coming back. I don't see that being the case for anyone.
I'll tell you what I am excited about. Ryan McLaughlin has just retweeted the fact that we're live on Red Mist. Ryan McLaughlin, Northern Ireland guy, who was at the boxing match at the weekend, but he spent so many years at Liverpool. Unfortunately, things didn't quite work out for him. He did make a couple of pre-season appearances. He's since gone to Oldham and now he's at Blackpool, enjoying life there. But Ryan, following us and watching the programme tonight. So, hi Ryan, thanks for your support.
Yeah, it's great, and we're going to hopefully work out something with him, maybe get him on the show at some point. But it's great to get a retweet. So you bent his ear basically.
Might have had a wee chat, a wee word in his ear, but didn't stay too long. He seemed to have a nice lady on his arm. So
right. Well, more attractive than looking at you or talking to you anyway.
Yeah. So second half then, what do you think Crystal Palace need to do here? What should they do? I
don't know. It's not worked out this match the way I thought it was going to. So maybe what Roy will do is he'll probably keep it the same for the first 15 minutes of the second half. He can't afford to go 2-0 down. So I don't think he's the sort of manager who will panic and start expanding the whole thing up and chasing the game. He'll start to do that maybe at 70 minutes, 65, something like that. So it will be very interesting to see how that works out. But it's just funny. It's become a really cagey, tight match, and I think we all expected loads of goals, both teams attacking.
Yeah, well, look, I'll take a win, and anytime you go to Selhurst Park, particularly on a Monday night, you want to win at all costs. 2 wins in 2. after tonight, that's as simple as it gets for me. If we have 2 from 2, not only 2 wins from 2, but we're actually 3 points above you. So that's good from a Liverpool perspective because, you know, I want to finish above you, and that's just as simple as it gets, you know. So, you know, there's no point in me sitting here lying.
You also haven't conceded yet either.
We haven't. We very nearly did. Well, let's talk about Alisson in the first half. So he
untested, nothing.
Yeah, 2 or 3 touches, one of which, again, I don't like to see. He's given the ball to his left back. His left back is facing him at that time, and there isn't really an out beyond that. And no, Naby Keita got away with it after that, but actually Robertson at times had to, you know, work really hard to get the ball out of there, whereas Alisson can send it straight down the line without there being that panic in between. There was one of the times he came for a corner, was good to see actually, and you like to see that.
He flapped a wee bit on it. It was offside, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, but there was one he came. Right. You remember the corner came in and he actually took it neatly, but it was just
a terrible
chip,
corner.
Into the middle. But the other one, you're right, in that he kind of partially got. So maybe not tested, and he certainly wasn't getting near that Townsend pile driver that came back off the crossbar.
Yeah. As I say, it's the perfect start for him in the Premier League because potentially you're going to win 2 games, not concede, and he hasn't really been tested that much. Yeah. And the Liverpool goalkeeper position has become a story. Yeah. It's become this thing that, you know, even a world-class goalkeeper would struggle to fill the jersey because of the difficulties that the club have had in filling that position.
Exactly.
From Mignolet to Karius.
And if you have just joined us within the last half an hour or so, news this evening that Karius has moved on loan for £2.25 million. The loan deal is worth to Liverpool, to Besiktas. They then will have the opportunity to buy him for a further £7.25 million. So Liverpool recoup £10 million for a keeper who, for me, his confidence is shot. He's never really going to come back to a club like Liverpool, and
he's not coming back.
He's not.
It's just with everything. He's unlucky, because we're only talking about one football match, but it was such a big match and it was such a big.
It's difficult. It's such a difficult position. You know, the fact is that if a centre forward makes a mistake, even if a defender makes a mistake, that's forgiven a lot quicker than for a goalkeeper. It's just unfortunate, but that's just how it is in modern day football. So Karius is exiting Anfield. It appears Mignolet will be our number 2.
He was linked with Napoli, was it?
He was in protracted talks with both Napoli and with Fulham. So like he looked to be the keeper who was on his way out.
And all of a sudden it's Karius.
And all of a sudden it's Karius who is gone, and Mignolet. Well, the window is still open, isn't it, until the end of the month for some European countries. So actually, he has a potential to go elsewhere, but Liverpool won't want to lose him because they'll want to have experienced backup should Alisson pick up an injury.
It's one of the hardest things to get that position right, you know, because they're separate to the team, the outfield players in a lot of ways, and if you've a bad player on the pitch, well, you've 9 others and you've got a squad, but if you've a bad goalkeeper, and if it's not working out, it's not working out.
It happens to the best of them. I saw a stat today of De Gea between his performances at the World Cup and for Manchester United, something like the last, I don't know, say 14 or 15 shots, he's conceded 9 goals. So, you know, all I'm saying is, you know, the difficulty is you've got to look at that at times, and for De Gea, is that because of a terrible defence? As in, you know,
he's under too much pressure. Yeah.
So actually, how much of that can you attribute to the goalkeeper? Whereas what Karius did was such an individual type.
Yes, it was.
Mistake.
Yeah. And it was cataclysmic.
Yeah. It really burst our bubble in the Champions League final. So.
Okay, second half kicked off. We're about a minute in, and Palace are sort of messing about with it across their back. It'll be interesting how this match kicks off now, whether there's a change in tact from Crystal Palace straight away. I suspect there won't be. I think they're going to wait maybe 10 or 15 minutes to try and get forward.
Well, surely they've been told to get at Liverpool here in the second half, because really and truly, what have they got to lose?
There's Van Arnold and Milner.
That seems to be a duel that has persisted from the first whistle.
I know what you're saying though about the goalkeeper. If you look at the goals that United conceded yesterday, okay, one's a penalty. One was a shot from the central defender from like 8 yards out, like impossible to stop that. And the other one is, I don't know, maybe De Gea, the first one, the Murray one, does De Gea get out and close him a bit more? Does the defenders missed it, so he's run across and nipped across to the near post and flicked it in? Is that one where the goalkeeper has a better view?
I don't know. I thought he was well positioned for that. I just think that to me, I wasn't reckoning Glenn Murray had the skill, basically, the expertise to put that away the way he did. So was De Gea thinking the same? Was he thinking he was going to take a touch before shooting?
Maybe. Maybe.
So
he did. It was a very cool finish.
Yeah,
it's just so disappointing. No disrespect to Glenn Murray, but he's been a journeyman pro. He's really come into the Premier League in his late 20s, if not 30s, and with two £30 million central defenders there at Man United,
you should be dealing with somebody
of that calibre.
Yeah, you should be.
It should be dispatched.
Yeah. Interesting times. Interesting times at your club.
Much more advanced position there from Van Arnold. Go on, get the cut back. Oh,
Great
it's another
ball.
one. It's another one where Benteke is nowhere to be seen when a good cutback ball comes into the middle.
Alisson did brilliantly there, actually, on his left foot and clearing the ball, picked out a Liverpool player. And
see, here's the consequences. Now, this must be 2-0.
Don't know about that. Salah. Oh, goodness. Hasn't been able to put it past the keeper. Still got the ball, though. Great ball.
Oh, he screwed it wide, man. Sort of scuffed it, or was Keita.
Yeah.
But that's the consequences of Benteke not making a good lead for his man. Cutback ball just drifts across the side.
You look probably 5 or 6 seconds between us defending and almost scoring a second goal.
And then that would be game over. Well, I don't know, you've lost big leads at Crystal Palace before.
You had to mention it, didn't you? 3-0.
I'm not in the mood, really, but I mean, I still have to.
2014. I think Suarez cut a desperate figure at the end of that game. I think that was a game where he had his head within the shirt crying his lamps out.
You were just a 0-0 draw against Chelsea away from winning the league. Do you know what amazed me about that moment? That the Gerrard slip was not Gerrard slip because shit happens, right? But he was the furthest. He was the farthest back player for Liverpool. So the reason why the two central defenders couldn't recover is that
they were ahead of him.
They were slightly ahead of him. I mean, why, when you only need, this is why it was such a cock-up from Rodgers, when you only need a 0-0 draw against Chelsea, a team that you know is going to sit back and park the bus, like Jose Mourinho had made a career out of in a second spell at Chelsea. But to have your midfielder as the furthest back player, I think that was the mistake.
Welcome to my world as a Liverpool supporter since 1980 or 1990. I think the last time we lifted the league title. And it's former guys, of course. I remember the first game I ever went to. Actually, that's something we haven't talked about. The first Liverpool game I ever went to was in 1990.
Was it really?
And it was against Luton Town. And we were losing 1-0, and we got an equaliser in the last few minutes. So it kind of half made up for the fact that I was sulking, having gone across. But we stayed in the Liverpool hotel, and I got to meet quite a lot of the players. Like Sinis was the manager then. We had the likes of Dean Saunders and Bruce Grobbelaar and Gary Ablett and Mark Wright, and a fairly strong outfit. But it's one of those experiences you don't forget. Coming from Northern Ireland, going supporting. And
it was harder in those days. It was more expensive for your parents because we didn't have the budget airlines, and it was all British Airways or whatever. So it was expensive.
Very much so.
It wasn't a £50 hop across.
No.
Mine wasn't until '96.
Right. Okay.
It was the first home Premier League game of that season, and it was against Everton, and it was 2-2. Duncan Ferguson put Everton 2-0 up at Old Trafford, and I didn't.
Big dunk.
I didn't think it was unreal watching it unfold. I was like, are we actually going to lose this? And like we've made all this trip. What's going on? But I think Solskjaer scored, and and Cruyff.
Jordy Cruyff.
Jordy
Cruyff, yeah.
Absolutely dreadful player he was.
Lived in his father's ship. Well, look, yeah. Well, you don't want to.
I think it was.
You don't want to run, but again, I remember the likes of
go on.
King Kenny's son, Paul Dalglish, always was in his father's shadow, and
he has given the free kick, so that's the first first yellow card for Liverpool.
Yeah.
Trent Alexander-Arnold, who's covering, so he's out of position, comes all the way across to try and take out Sakho.
Yeah, neat footwork.
It's almost why is Alexander-Arnold so far over to the left? He must be man marking Sakho. Or why was he caught so far out of position there? I'm still to be convinced by Trent's defending, and I know I've gone on about it on a few of our shows. Very good going forward, but yeah, the wrong decision there. Hope this guy Milivojevic doesn't score because he's got the most difficult name to pronounce. I think he did well. Is it Milivojevic? Is that his name?
Here he is.
Oh, good save. You must say it's a good save.
Now that's the first save that I have seen from this keeper.
I wonder if is it going wide, but he doesn't know. He doesn't know what's going wide.
I think it's a postcard save. No, it's going in.
No, it's going in. That's
brilliant.
A good save. Yeah.
Good save.
It looks good on.
Look at Klopp giving it the old.
Yeah, he knows that that's like a goalkeeper scoring. You know that for him to get a good save like that under his belt.
Yeah.
It's as important as it's the same as a striker scoring a goal.
But Klopp does celebrate in some ridiculous ways, doesn't he?
But I think that's a sign.
Did you see him last week?
Yeah. We don't need to talk about what that looked like.
But he's just done something pretty similar there. Like he always punches the air. But
first time, get the ball into the middle. Nah, it's a good idea.
Van Arnholt always taking it on his left side.
But that shows you that I think that's a very honest reaction from Klopp. That it's a lot of pressure if you pay 60-odd million quid for a goalkeeper. So you want to see him making good saves and settling in quickly.
That's another angle here, and you can see
that's a good save.
It is. It is very good. You expect him to make it, but he makes it well.
Mignolet has to watch on, and Klopp is now thinking, and there's Karius.
Yeah.
Who's just agreed to leave.
Yeah.
What's he doing there?
Still loves the club. He loves it. Now where's the keeper?
Slightly overhead pass, I don't think it's...
No,
it took a touch off a Liverpool player, so it's going to be a corner.
Yeah.
So where's the goalkeeper there? Is that communication?
Well, miscommunication between, is it Gomez and centre half? And I must say, we're talking about goalkeepers here. My mates are having to go at me. I play cricket during the summer, and I am the self-proclaimed safe hands of the team. So I have threatened to get it put across my jersey, but my wife thinks it's probably not the best idea in the world. But let's see, can Allison be safe hands tonight? And he's done it again.
Save. That's a Benteke header.
Yeah, absolutely superb. Offside.
Another offside. But sure, how could he be offside?
He's climbing then, is he? No, he is offside.
Oh, yeah, there's an offside player.
He's active.
Yeah, he's active. Active offside, Zaha.
Silly.
First moment from Benteke all match, that header.
And he'll definitely be out to get one over in Liverpool tonight. Definitely will. What's going on here?
Bit of an injury to Keita, I think.
Actually, one of the guys...
Bit better from Crystal Palace this year.
Yeah. Great climb, wasn't it, from Benteke? Great climb.
But that's his strength. He's a big lighthouse. If you put it in the air, he's very, very good in the air. He just don't ask him to move.
Yeah.
As long as he's able to jump straight up and straight down.
We were talking about our first ever recollections of either going to Liverpool or United, and actually one of the players who played for Liverpool back then, and I think you've seen the picture of me with him, but actually went on to have a great career in Spain as well. Steve McManaman. He was a bit of an enigma, in the English colours. I don't think he really came to life for his country. But
it's a bit like Michael Carrick in a lot of ways. Should have had 50 England caps.
Yeah.
He was McManaman, because Ferguson used to always.
You see him as
He used to, and if you read any of Fergie's books, or you read what the former players have talked about, he always used to talk about McManaman. and control him.
Yeah, yeah.
And McManaman was an interesting player because he played right wing.
Yeah, but he always came in.
He always cut in,
yeah.
but he was right-footed. He was way ahead of his time. I think that the reason why McManaman didn't have a great England career, although he did play Euro 96, is I think his style of play, he was ahead of his time. And maybe that's what made Real Madrid
stand up, yeah.
Because whenever he signed for Real Madrid, it raised a lot of eyebrows.
Yeah,
really?
Did.
Was Steve McLaren, you know?
I think
he
got player of the game in the Champions League final for them as well.
And, and at that time, you know, it was you know, the Giggs, Scholes, Beckham, you know, McManaman, Redknapp, you know, he wasn't considered, I don't think, quite at the top level of that. But I go back and I say, I reckon if Ferguson was managing those players, I think they would have been top achievers. You would have been turning up to an FA Cup final in white suits. That's for sure. None of that would have been happening, and that I think I just thought that was unbelievable.
I'll let you away with that one.
The players knew that the young players knew they'd won as soon as they saw the suits.
We'll not talk about grey kits then.
No. But you're doing okay in a grey kit at the minute.
It's funny because teams can't really see each other with grey kits.
No, they can't. They can't. If the sun is shining, it's only if the sun is shining. So floodlights, you know, 8 o'clock, you know.
Yeah.
You know,
exactly.
In Croydon or wherever the hell they are, you know, it's no problem. But if the sun's shining and it's Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock, then you're invisible. Absolutely invisible.
And actually, having supported Liverpool for my whole life, I've been to Manchester United games almost as much as I've been to Liverpool games. Always with my cousin, because we got the hold of season tickets, and I always cheered the opposition. So he always hated going with me.
Right.
I remember going to Champions League games and cheering for Inter Milan. And
was that 99 on the way to the treble?
No, it would have been later than that. It was later than that. Was Karim Benzema about at that stage? I think he was. But no matter who it is, I always cheer the opposition.
Yeah, cheer. That's classic.
Cheer against United. Well, of course, yeah. I mean, you love Liverpool, of course, as well. So you'd never do anything like that. Well, it's great to see you struggling anyway.
You know, I think we're looking at a change of manager next week.
Yeah.
I think we do this. I think if we do this on Monday night and United lose at home to Spurs, I think we're talking about a managerial change at Man United. Like, what the hell is going on? What is happening?
I don't know. Would the board do that at this stage?
Yeah. International break gives them a chance to have a rethink.
My goodness.
Took a bit of a deflection. Is it a corner?
Yeah.
Well struck from Salah, and it took a wicked deflection. It's gone behind for a corner.
They were worried there. Hennessy was worried. Watch this.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's good defended.
He was like a cat there, wasn't he? Salah reaching for that one. Weird match, honestly, I must say. And you know what, the West Ham match weirded me out as well because it was not what I expected either.
It was just totally one-sided, and West Ham had nothing to give. Absolutely nothing.
Utterly
no heart. No heart. Whereas I still...
This is weird. I didn't think it was going to
But this to me could be a banana skin because if we concede here, it could be disastrous.
Do you know, even though it's a cagey result, I originally said there's going to be goals that just haven't come the way I thought they were going to come. I was well struck again by Alexander-Arnold that time. If Crystal Palace tried to open up, with say 15 minutes to go, you could catch them on the break 2 or 3 times and end up actually winning 4-0.
Yeah, but that wouldn't, you know, it wouldn't show how the game had panned out. It's a bit like the Brighton game. I hate to harp on about it, but actually the scoreline flatters United, I think.
It was so bad, it's not even. It got a wee bit better in the second half until the whole chipping up to the big man stuff. And that's why, like, Ferguson lost football matches for God's sake. It's the style.
Yeah.
And that's what people are, that's what United fans are upset about.
But that's what you have sacrificed. You have sacrificed style for winning ugly. And that's, you know...
Yeah, I think it's not a board decision. What the board have done in the last, since Ferguson, since Moyes, okay, the Moyes experiment was cut short very quickly. But what they've done is they've gone for CVs. So Louis van Gaal, fabulous CV, get him in, appalling. Like, I mean, the style of football. I still think a lot of players are recovering mentally from Van Gaal, if they were players under him. It was...
Surely it wasn't that bad.
It was just... the goal's that way. Serious, you want us to... No, I want you to keep the ball. I want you to pass it sideways, and we'll board them to death, and we'll win 1-0. I still think a lot of players are recovering from that. Do you think there's a
hangover from that?
Yeah, and I think it's very hard to unlearn just how bad that was. And then Jose Mourinho has come in, and he's at a different stage of his career. The board have appointed Mourinho on the basis of his CV. And, you know... They wanted Jose Mourinho, but what they've got is his grumpy...
But surely he has changed his methodology, because I don't remember, you know, teams of his down the years being just so defensive.
The Inter Milan team, I remember it was... I think when the Jose Mourinho being synonymous with defending and being negative first came with the Inter Milan Champions League performance where he won the treble with Inter. That was an amazing achievement. That's his greatest ever achievement. But he went to Barcelona.
Not according to him.
Yeah, no, second last season. Second last season. Yeah, and we're supposed to buy this stuff. You know, so... But it was an amazing achievement to win the treble with Inter Milan, right? But he went away to Barcelona and he kicked them off the pitch. I mean, he put 11 men camped outside the penalty area, built like a human wall, and got through it. And remember, he ran onto the pitch celebrating. And I think that's when Jose Mourinho became synonymous with negativity of style of play. And since then, I don't know, it's just because his first Chelsea team had like Duff and Robin and Drogba and also Kesman, people like that. Like, it was very attacking. They used to stuff teams 4 and 5-0.
But that's kind of what I revert back to when I think of Jose and his teams, not Manchester United.
Is it great? Crawford?
Yeah. He's saying, what about this new keeper of ours? You see, the keeper really has taken tonight's performance out of my performance at the weekend.
So you're getting heat from Liverpool fans about your criticism of Alisson?
No, well, more so out of the fact that I can catch the ball and he can't.
Right. Oh, this is cricket.
Yeah, yeah,
right.
yeah. Back there again. So here's safe hands. He's saying.
Safe hands. Safe
One chance, boys, at the weekend. One catch. There you go. That's all you need. That's all you need. I think it's 7 on the spin. I'll not talk about the early season drops that I have.
No.
So it's just the ones that count. But yeah, 25 minutes or so to go, and this is a precarious position for me, watching Liverpool. I don't like to see this.
It's just been so much cagier than we thought it was going to be.
Now, this is surely a good opportunity. 4 men in the box. And we choose to go backwards.
But we're getting to that time where Crystal Palace will change strategy. There's going to be a substitution in the next 2 or 3 minutes, you think, or there's going to be like a strategic change of the way they're playing.
Alexander-Arnold.
Decent ball into the middle.
It's all right.
It's not massively Firmino's strength to be making those near post runs. It's not what he's known for.
Again, I mean, I'm still very disappointed with Salah's performance tonight.
He's not fit. I mean,
he's literally just trundling back.
Go on.
Go on, Christian.
That
is class. That's what Liverpool fans will take back from London tonight. That was absolutely amazing.
Well, there's 2 balls that are now in South Croydon.
Yeah, great first touch. Beats his man.
That is corner flag stuff.
And then smashes it over the corner flag. How well, Christian. How well. There we go. Milner's coming off. Henderson coming on. So it's like for like.
So we did tonight. We talked about that before the match. I said I would have thought if Henderson comes back into the team, it'll be Milner that drops out.
Yeah.
Because you have the very defensive Keita and then you have
Wijnaldum pushing forward.
And of course, a factor that's very unfortunate for, and nobody wants to see it, no matter who you support. It's the Ox being out for the whole season.
That's a big loss for us. It's a big loss because he really has. He's actually another signing that I thought in that window, oh, here we go, it's a fire sale at this stage. We're just bringing him in because he showed potential at Arsenal beforehand. But actually, after a nervous few games at the start, he really played some brilliant stuff. And
Klopp's playing him where he wants to play. He wants to play in the middle. He doesn't want to play out in the wing.
So this is also good for us because Henderson's had very little game time from the World Cup. Very little game time. So he'll get the last 25 or so minutes on the step to being match fit. And of course he's taken the armband, but he is the club captain. So
still is club captain.
Yeah.
I still see Salah coming off for Shaqiri or maybe Lallana. I would prefer trying to remain bloody neutral about this, but I would prefer Shaqiri just to see.
Shaqiri gives you that entertainment, doesn't he, on the ball? He just looks to create every time he has it. So Henderson.
Oh, get out to
Henderson white boots.
It's not a good ball from Alexander-Arnold, but Schlupp had totally lost Alexander-Arnold there.
What do you make of these white boots?
Do you remember whenever
Too
we
many
were
white
kids,
boots.
if you turned up the football
white boots, you were known as an absolute muppet.
Yeah, but you're dead as well.
You were the muppet because you're trying to say, look at me. First tackle, off at the knees.
I remember I played with my uncle, and he used to be a goalkeeper, and we were playing this match for I don't know what team it was, and I said, what time do I turn up? He was like, so be there at 8 o'clock or whatever, and he just he goes, don't wear white boots. Don't wear white boots.
Yeah, but it's stuck with you, hasn't it? But nowadays, black boots are few and far between.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. It was the Predators that came out that were still black.
I had them. I had the black and red.
With the red
Preds. Yeah, the wee. And the wee kind of indents right the way along. The size. They give you the swerve and all that type of stuff. Yep. One of the first issues. Former Liverpool player, Craig Johnson. He actually was the inventor.
Is it really? It's the first boot I can remember being marketed, like a real product. Like the sort of like breakthrough technology.
I think he was an Aussie, as far as I understand. Long-haired guy, and
I couldn't tell him.
Like there was a guy on my team, John Dugan, and he could produce anything with them.
I just couldn't tell
him. But they certainly did add something different to your game. Obviously still going, but now my favourite is Adidas World Cup boots. I love them. Copa Mondials.
The Copa Mondials. Good fives shoes. Yeah, they're good shoes for fives.
Oh yeah. I actually have them in the new bit form, the ones that come up your ankle. Oh, we're almost in.
Might have been offside. Do you think at times whenever the game gets in this manner, so it's very much they're sitting back, you've got to pick the lock to get through. Do you think this is where, I'm surprised Benteke is actually coming off. Do you think this is where Firmino, you'd be better off with an out-and-out 9?
Yeah.
And maybe this is where his weaknesses are highlighted because he is a drop-off. Yeah. He's a drop-me-off player. I want to pick up the ball from the centre half
and run at them
and turn, run, and then maybe link up with the wingers. But whenever the game gets like this, he becomes a weakness.
I think it's a good point. I'd be tempted right about now to take him off and to put on Sturridge. I don't think Bobby's had a great game tonight.
I like Firmino, and I just don't think this is his game. I just don't think this is a game where he's gonna do well. Now watch, he'll put 2 goals in. I've said that.
No, I think.
But yes, it's a Sturridge one. It's right on the shoulder of the defender. It's right on the lines. It's a Sturridge
But you look, even he's just over the halfway line here. He's sitting pretty deep. I'm still nervous here. I'm nervous. 1-0.
Well, it's going to open up now because Palace have worked hard to stay compact and only 1-0 down, and they're just starting to break away with those types of moves. Where again, that final ball, just a bit lacking.
And Gomez there, yes, he got to the ball, but he didn't look that assured, did he? He just put the ball straight in the touch. Yeah, so...
Is he a fullback or is he a...
He can play both.
But is he sees himself as a centre defender?
Yeah. He can play both. And to be fair, he's a young lad. I like him. I really do. I think he's had a great pre-season. He's come into the team. Lovren, of course, still out. What I want Gomez to do is to show enough that Lovren doesn't necessarily get straight back in.
Townsend now in the ball, which he has been so quiet in this match. And Schlipp's done okay and Zaha have done okay. Townsend has been, he's really struggled to get into the game. Oh, it's massive there from Tompkins.
Yeah.
How far forward he is.
So
better from Townsend.
Yeah, a bit of concerted pressure from Crystal Palace, and now we've
Go on, Zaha.
Left the man around the back, straight at the keeper.
Straight down the through of the keeper, but
straight at the keeper. And actually,
that's good handling from Beck. He wouldn't have seen that until the last minute.
If you look, actually, the outstretched legs that came out, that could have taken that ball absolutely anywhere. You see it goes right through the legs of Gomez, and he tries to clear it. So we're kind of clinging to this 1-0 lead, I'd say, at the minute. And Klopp, I still haven't seen any subs warm up for us. Yeah, I want more. I want more from Liverpool. We're stuck in a position here now where we don't know whether to press forward in case we leave gaps at the back.
I agree with that. I think that, yes, what do you do?
Yeah. That's kind of where we're in two minds here. We need a second goal. It's just as simple as that.
You can see the promo coming up there for United against Spurs next Monday night, which we'll be doing.
What
let me tell you.
Did they have the strap under it? Jose leaves.
Jose out, yeah. They've pre-prepared the news headline. Oh God.
Jose leaves. Gary Neville brought in.
I know Michael Carrick. Did he get it? I know, what a mess.
Well, who would it be? Is this Zidane's?
Well, I think if they put Zidane in, if Jose went and they put Zidane in, they would probably push forward and get the director of football.
Aye.
It seems the way the club wants to go, they should probably put the director of football in first.
Yeah.
And then the director of football can absolutely confirm that, we've got an onion here as head coach, just in case you didn't know. So this is sort of, this boy, look at this boy.
He's
some size.
Got a bit of height about him, doesn't he? Where's he come from?
Pass.
Don't know much about him. Other than we're under attack here.
But if they are going to do this pass and like,
look at this, 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 look at this.
Oh, great tackle.
Oh, he's going to give him a card.
Oh, it's a penalty and a red card.
No, it's not a penalty. It's outside the box. First contact.
There's no doubt the ball, he did get the ball, but did he get the man first? Is that the key?
That is Basoko, isn't it?
Yeah, that's Wan-Bissaka. Again, like you saw his first touch, the way he traps the ball, knocks it away from himself. Aaron Wan-Bissaka.
I don't know whether he got too much of Salah here. Let's see. Salah did well to get his body, and he's going to cross the player.
Oh, it's a scythe down. It's totally a professional foul. No.
Yeah, taking his back leg.
And twice, 3 times. I mean, if you're Salah, you're delighted you're walking away from that. You know, that's a
but the other side to it is, if you're a Crystal Palace player, you're probably happy enough with that as well, because instead of allowing Salah to score and get through in and goal or concede a penalty, yes, he's been sent off, but actually, if they do enough to thwart Liverpool here, they've still got, 13-14 minutes.
What makes a nonsense of that decision to do that is if he scored his free kick, because then it's devastating. And it's at that time, 15 minutes to go, it kills Hodgson's options now, because he probably was waiting for 15 minutes to go to make a change or have a change of strategy. Getting a big out clap, isn't he?
I think he's gurning. I think he's crying. I think this is too close to score from.
Or you better go in low into the keeper's left.
Salah does it early, off the wall. See, that's where I think if you're out another couple of metres, gives you enough to get it up and down. If you look, so
it's difficult.
So there, Palace get away with that to a certain degree. They get away with that.
They get away with it, but they're under massive pressure now. I mean, how do they go forward without, leaving the back door open?
Core punch that
Great punch from
Ramsey. No, have a shot. Oh, good effort.
A couple of shots like that, those tonight, where it's straight down the throat of the goalkeeper, but the ball's moving all over the place.
Here's one for you. When is the last time you've watched a game and the two goalkeepers are wearing number 13? It's an odd number. You're
going to have to go back to pre-squad numbers and both goalkeepers being injured or subbed off or something.
Because it's an odd number for anybody to take, let alone a keeper, I would have thought.
But presumably that's Alisson's number for the year.
Yeah, because they've already confirmed their squad numbers for this season. Even though Karius he's
taken number
gone.
One.
He's won. Alisson won't be one because they've already had to submit it. Wouldn't have been my first choice of number, but there you go. You look at it's an odd number nowadays, isn't it? You look at Trent, 66.
Like you only have 25 players in the squad.
Is it after the 1966 team?
I have utterly no idea. You're supposed to be a Liverpool fan. You're supposed to tell me this sort of stuff.
That's my guess. He surely wasn't born in 66 anyway, I'll tell you that for nothing.
So, Townsend coming off. Is that a defender coming on? Is this like classic Hodgson here? Joe Ward coming on?
He's a right back, isn't he?
What's he doing here?
Yeah, and you've got there, you look at the two guys, like he's taken off Benteke and now he's taken off Zaha, and if anything, Palace looking less threatening.
So what's he doing, a 4-4-1 or something like that? Is he... did he need to replace the right back?
That was a weird throw in by Arnold there, wasn't it?
I can kind of understand bringing on a defender if he takes Van Arnhold off and then plays three centre halves.
There's Liverpool coming forward here. No.
This is matter of time stuff now.
My goodness,
nice
great defending.
And
Sakho.
Showing a nice calm touch there, the big lad.
Taught him everything he knows.
Yeah, I know. That's a strange one for me. Looks like a 4-4-1 now with the sort off up front on his own. You've still got.
They're going to have to push the last few minutes, aren't they? That's surely going to open up a gap in the last 5. Because they'll try to set 4. There's a bank of 4, as you say. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this guy who's he's not going to get a touch. This new guy who's just come on.
So Schlipp's on the left, Zaha on the right, and then sort off in the middle, and then so it's a 4-4-1. But
yeah, they're going to have to push more, aren't they?
It's a bit of a resignation of defeat.
It's
substitution from Hodgson.
Yeah, I think you've called it. You've called it. But Liverpool, they're all over them now.
It's another one straight down the throat of the goalkeeper, this time from Mane, who's been a bit quieter in the second half. It's been strange. It's not. I've said a few times.
If we win this by a goal to 0, the word I think is pedestrian, and that's how it's been, because we look as if we can crank the pace up at any stage, but yet they could still hit us on the break. Please, no.
Oh, we could have left that go, couldn't he have?
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
Nah, it's a good tackle.
You hear the home fans?
No complaint anyway from McCarthy.
All going for a penalty.
It was just if could have got the word that to leave that for McArthur, who's coming onto it, he'd have been able to get a shot away.
I would like to see us get a second goal before the end. Not convincing, but you know, when I think back to grinding out wins, particularly for championship sides, you know, it's something
that's nice from McArthur. Spins away there from Keita.
Something that your old
previous
manager used to do. You know, he made a career out of it. You know, it's these.
Yeah, it's been a gritty performance in the end. And
yeah.
You didn't think that was how the game was going to go. You thought it'd be much more expansive, and Liverpool would get more opportunities to break from wide positions. But it's really, you know, it's been played down the middle belt of the pitch.
Slip off now and
for Max Meyer. Again, this is just fresh legs in wide positions. There's no doubt those players are playing for Hodgson, though. I mean, they're putting in massive shifts for him.
Do you want to run with that one?
Yeah, so Pogo Mac shows the depths of LFC's squad. Hendo comes on, whereas City bring on Sané.
I don't know how to comment on that.
Oh, save from Salah's header.
He's trying to say Hendo's very conservative, whereas City bring on Sané, who had a good season last year, but yet didn't make the German World Cup squad. So
well, look where that got Germany, though.
Oh, well, you know, it didn't get them too far. What's wrong with Henderson? Goodness sake. Now, Hennessy's under.
The linchpin, you know. Hendy Esther,
look,
you know, the linchpin of the England team.
You've got to have somebody in there that dictates things. And that's what he does for us. Here's Trent. Hendy Esther. Love it. So 6 minutes to go, and Crystal Palace, well, they've got it all to do, don't they? They've made their 3 subs. Liverpool.
But it's quite a typical Roy Hodgson thing to do. It's all about being solid, having a structure. You know, he was never going to just wing on. You know, player gets sent off. He's never going to wing on another striker. You know, that's 4-4-1. It has to be solid.
We've only made 1 change, and that's.
I think that's because, as you said, Klopp was sort of caught between the lines. Do you start pushing for a second goal, or do you just protect what you have, or certainly don't change the strategy, which I think is what he's done.
Yeah, but it hasn't been good to watch.
Oh, come on, right across the face of goal.
You know, that's what I'm talking about. And that was Mayer almost on the end of that. That's exactly why we needed to get a second goal.
Oh, and that flicked defensive intervention, you know, I mean, that could have gone anywhere.
Yeah. Now Salah.
Oh,
go on, Salah. Go on, Salah. Go on, Salah. No, they just got to.
God, it's more like fancy footwork from Sakho again.
He's run into trouble, Mayer. Silly decision. And now Hendy Esther. Tidies it.
Hendy Esther.
That's what he's going to be known as. Forever. White boots. Gomez and Henderson and Keita.
This is the thing now, is can Crystal Palace put them under enough pressure that they're going to give possession away? Because this would kill me. You know, if
you're going to put the boot into somebody now, are you?
You've just done a rough 90-minute shift, 85-minute shift. You've got a player sent off, and now Liverpool are just
toying with you.
Just toying with you around. You know, very, very difficult to find the energy. Where do they do? Do I go and press them?
This is better from Liverpool, and goodness me, if you're a Palace fan, like where's where are you getting the ball back? Because all you're doing is keeping your shape here. They have to take a chance now. There's only 3 minutes to go.
I think they're trying to launch one more counter attack if they can survive this Liverpool attack.
Go on, have it. For goodness sake. Bobby Firmino. Now we'll get a substitution to run the clock down. There you go, Lallana.
Lallana off for
Keita.
Good game, yeah.
Yeah, I like.
You like this guy?
Yeah, I liked how he performed. Good shift.
That's some haircut that Lallana's got.
He swapped with Bobby Firmino. They just swapped haircuts.
There's been a few new haircuts this season.
Yeah, some pretty poor ones. This is.
I mean, there's no arguing. That first touch.
Yeah, the first touch I think wins Salah the ball and gets us the free kick. Joint most red cards, 5 last season for Michael Oliver. I don't think Bobby Madley gave away that many.
No. We're not going to talk about that, are we? No.
I think it might be best to steer clear of it. You know. 2 minutes to go. We're going to move on to 6 points here, surely.
With no goals conceded.
No goals.
5 in the plus column.
Yeah, it's decent. It's decent. And then we've got our next game. I think is Brighton at home on Saturday, 5:30. Great turn, Wijnaldum. It's the first time he's really got away from his man.
He does this in sort of fits and starts, doesn't he, Wijnaldum? He comes in and out of games and he doesn't do it for 90 minutes, consistently putting defenders and the opposition under pressure like that. He has so much ability. I mean, again, when you guys signed him, I was kind of like, yeah, I'm happy with that because I think he's one of the players that watched Newcastle get themselves relegated, a couple of years ago.
Yeah, but then you look, it's a similar story with Shaqiri as well.
Yeah,
he did
that too.
Yeah. Class act, but you just hope that he brings that game.
Palace are just finding it so hard to
hit the ball. I mean, it's a good challenge in the end, but how much of an invitation do you need? And now he's down.
Palace are just finding it so hard to even get possession back. And when they do, it's because of a free kick.
It's Firmino, is it? I tell you what, has he tweaked something here, hammy?
Or is it just cramp?
It's a great challenge when you look at it, but he's definitely wincing. It's Tompkins, formerly of West Ham.
It looks like it just looks like cramp.
Yeah, it is cramp.
He's put
it is cramp.
A massive shift in.
Yeah.
Man of the match time. Who do you think?
I'm going Keita.
Keita, yeah.
Yeah, that'll be Keita. Just because of his energy, his engine, his work rate. Other than that, not a load of standout performers for us. I suppose people have gone about their job in an efficient way. Another guy who I think has done well is Gomez yet again. And the fact that we haven't really talked about him a lot, but anything that he's done done pretty well. The only downside was for me that he covered a through ball, and instead of kind of taking a touch, playing it up the line, he played it straight into touch. But beyond that, for a young lad making his way, in the early stages of his Premier League development, I think he's been superb. And that, to me, has been a real positive from the first 2 games of this season.
That this could be the answer, actually. For you're looking at, is it Lovren, is it Klavan? But actually, it's not going to be Gomez.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Lovren or
Matip
or Matip come back into the team automatically.
I think they'll have to play their way in. If he maintains this standard, this is what we.
Mayer into the box. Can he win something? Can he win a corner or anything? They're just trying to fashion one more chance, Crystal Palace. Oh, it's going to be a free kick. Oh, it's Lallana.
Lallana doesn't
not
like
up to
that.
speed with the match.
Doesn't like that. He's just onto the pitch and he's giving that away. And Liverpool having a one-man advantage now. We're under the cosh. Still haven't been able to put Crystal Palace to bed.
And this is where you absolutely kick yourself if this goes in.
Better not go in.
Another corner.
Goodness me. This is not what Liverpool need.
They've got to get in they've got to quickly take this. Time is against them. Oh, that's a breakaway.
Here we go.
Bound to be 2-0.
Salah through to Mane. Mane scored 2 in the first. Oh my goodness me, he's walked it around the keeper. What do you do?
It's always going to happen. There was the opportunity for the breakaway goal. But it has been Mane's start to the season. This has been the theme.
Superb. Third goal in 2 games. What did I say the score would be tonight?
2-0 probably. 2-1 did you say?
No, I think I maybe did. I changed it
I think
actually between.
Change. Oh, did you? Is that you changing it?
Well, I'm going to go 2-0 now actually. It's a bit late. No, earlier in the day I had thought 2-0, but I just thought, like you, I think you probably swayed me into thinking that Liverpool would concede tonight. I thought they would. But breakaway goal, Salah involved again, and what a sight.
Doesn't change man of the match for you now?
No, and again it did come into my thinking, into my mind once he did that round the keeper. I'd say all in all, Mane's had a great start to the season,
and it is a great start to the season because they've needed it, because Salah has been a bit quieter whilst he's trying to pick up fitness from the World Cup.
I think he's off the pace, but look, he's provided an assist there, so you can't really get at him. We don't, if you're being honest with yourself as Liverpool fans, you don't expect him to repeat what he did last season.
No, but you'd expect 25 goals.
Yeah.
For a player of his ability, you'd be disappointed with fewer than
this, just what we've seen here in the camera is the big thing that Klopp needs to get right this season. And you know what that is?
What's that? That
is having the ability to keep people like Sturridge involved and keep them happy. And Shaqiri's not going to get on tonight. Sturridge has just come on for a minute. Like, what are those guys thinking?
Crawford said it's a bit like watching United from 2 years ago.
Yeah, well.
But as we've started this channel, that's what's happening. I mean, is the balance really starting to shift from, from Manchester?
And I think we did refer to that earlier, and that was a big characteristic of, we talked about Fergie time actually, and that phrase was coined in United for years, even after Ferguson left for a while. They still had that ability within the last few minutes to actually kill a game off, I really hope that we can follow in those footsteps. I think Liverpool, this has turned into an absolutely superb start to the campaign. Klopp couldn't ask for much more. We haven't conceded. We've scored 6 goals in 2 games. We've got Brighton up next. Yes, you had a hiccup against them yesterday. I don't think Liverpool have the same problem. I really don't. And I'm interested to see how this strength and depth that we've kind of brought in over the summer pans out. The only hesitation I have is Klopp, having to manage those egos, because he's got some big names there who are having to look at this tonight and go, I've just spent all week training, I've come to the match, I've travelled to London, and I got no game time whatsoever. I know there's a bit of that's part and parcel of being a professional footballer, but the more strength and depth you have, the harder it is to keep everyone interested.
So, man of the match is Naby Keita for you. So it has finished 2-0 to Liverpool, and it was pretty. There was a routine vibe to it. I don't think you were under massive pressure. There were a few minutes in each half of a period of pressure from Crystal Palace, but this is what I love as well about Klopp. This is love is not the right word, but he's on the pitch, embracing all the players. There's a feel good factor about Liverpool at the minute that we don't have. Which even if we won matches,
look,
Jose's not.
He's got energy, he's got enthusiasm, and he's out there smiling cheek to cheek. The teeth aren't his own, but nobody really cares.
No, they're good teeth.
But you know, that's what we want. We want an infectious manager out there, even when things aren't necessarily going to plan. And that's what I think over the last couple of years, and Klopp's been in there, and we haven't quite got over the line, you know, with the finals that we played in under him. But the fans keep coming back to him because he is so refreshing as a manager. He comes across as so honest as well, and you know, he's one of those people that you can't take your eye off. Unfortunately, Jose used to be that sort of character, but he has turned into, you know, something.
Or it's just been he's been left behind. You know, the game he hasn't moved with the times as a person. You know, unfortunately, footballers are all egos these days. They've so much power now. It's not even real. They've so much money now. It's unreal, and they don't like to be treated badly. And he's treated some of the players pretty terribly. He's treated Anthony Martial badly. He's treated Luke Shaw badly. He's treated some of the other players pretty badly. Well, it's because of his public condemnation of the players, and you know, we're just looking at the league table. Liverpool sitting second, behind Manchester City. I mean, obviously it's early stages of the season, but you've got Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Watford up there. Yeah. Which is interesting, and Spurs, who you face next, and this really is going to be. I'm turning the spotlight round here now, but for Manchester United, and you think that this is going to be a huge game. I think this is it. I think there's just so much. There's just so much collateral now in this match, and you know, even if we snatched a point against Brighton in the last minute or something like that, then it would totally change the vibe going into Spurs next week. Because I think if we lose Old Trafford, I think he's gone. I think the fact that the international break comes straight away after that and it gives everyone a week off, I think he really is gone. Yeah, but what if he gets a win and then all you're doing is stalling the inevitable? Because actually the international break then doesn't keep the tempo of him having won another game and got you back to winning ways. It actually halts that again, and then he's starting again. I think it's. I agree that maybe it is. It's not a long-term view, but I believe that if it's as fickle a result as if we lose against Spurs, I think he's gone. I think an ugly draw, he's still there, and a win, what the board will do is they'll keep him. They will just say, well, we won the last match, and so we've moved up the table. So let's see what the next match brings. But there's just so much negativity that Mourinho brought into the start of the season himself, that he brought in. And he had this sort of public spat with the board, you know, and then you had this sort of bizarre last-minute trolley dash. Whereas we've just watched, you know, 90 minutes of Liverpool, and it's sort of just calm. It's a professional performance. And everything's going well at Liverpool, bar, you know, Oxlade-Chamberlain being injured, Lovren potentially been, you know, out for a few more weeks, but Gomez is coming good here, and that's Liverpool. Really, everything is going swimmingly well at the minute. That may change going forward. In fact, when you think of the last stages of the game there, if they had conceded from that corner, from the Palace corner with 10 men right at the end, you know, we had been having a very different conversation right now. But there's certainly a distinct difference in the two camps at the minute. I think United and all their fans, they want to have a bit more positivity about the club, whereas Jose is presenting this, you know, figure who is like a, you know, a merchant of doom more than anything. And you know, yes, and he looks very detached from the whole thing. Yeah, for your sanity, you know, you'll want that to change, but if it's going to change, it's going to be very public in terms of how he leaves. I don't see him leaving quietly. And then it's who you bring in. So very interesting. So look, if we're assessing some of the players, where do you, out of 10, how do we rate the Liverpool performances tonight? So I would go 7 for Alisson. Didn't have much to do. Didn't have much, but a couple of really good saves then in the second half. Yeah. 2 good saves. He had one shot that he turned around the corner and another Benteke header soon after. Yeah. Alexander-Arnold, 7 again. Still lacks a wee bit defensively, but his crossing was decent tonight. Van Dijk and Gomez, again, I'm sounding like a broken record here, but probably a 7 for Van Dijk. I understand why you're landing at those scores, because they've done a perfect good display.
Yeah.
They've not been overly tested, so they've not had to excel themselves.
So I would say 7 Van Dijk. I'm going to give 8 to Gomez. I think I did that last game as well, just by virtue of the fact that he doesn't have a lot of game time at this level under his belt, and every time he plays, he impresses me. Same for Robertson, 7. I'd probably give Naby Keita, I'm going to say, for his work rate alone and his ability to retain possession, a 9. Milner a 7. Wijnaldum a 7. Wijnaldum, I don't know.
He frustrates at times because whenever he's in the game, he's very good, but he has huge spells of the game where he's not in it.
Mane, I'm going to give an 8. Scored at the end. Salah, I'm going to totally throw this in there and say it's a 7.5. I haven't give half marks up to now, but he's been involved in the move for a goal, and Firmino a 7. Quite quiet actually.
He was quiet, but again, it became a game that he's not suited to because he wants to be. He really steps his game up whenever he's playing against a big team that's going to attack, because that's when he really becomes effective. He drops off. He links the 2 wide players in. Whenever it's up against a very defensive team, it's decided. Yeah, we're going to sit back. It's difficult for him. I think it's not where he's at his strongest. Yeah,
but I just wonder then, and I know things have turned out all rosy in the garden tonight for Klopp, but if he had taken Firmino off with 15 minutes ago and thrown on Shaqiri and or Sturridge, you know, and I know what he did there was he played the numbers game, and he said to himself, look, you know, Crystal Palace down to 10 men, they're going to start pushing here, we'll get an opportunity and we'll score from it. That's it. I mean, he has been thinking, we were thinking the breakaway here is going to hit Crystal Palace potentially. That's what happened, and so Klopp can stand over his decision not to change the lineup for as long as he did. But for me, I still, I mean, and it goes back to what you were saying earlier, entertainment is the name of the game. Do you want to win ugly? No, not really. I respect what it takes to win an ugly match, and that was slightly uglier today. Yeah, it was.
And you have to win those kind of matches. But yeah, but generally you guys are exciting to watch.
Yeah, we are.
And I think, based on the first 2 games this season, at least 3 of the top 4 have got off to a 100% record. So Manchester City, Liverpool and Spurs. Yeah. And now it's a case of, can Manchester United recover and put a string of games together, starting with Spurs, and be the other team in that top 4? Because, you know, we're going to be in and out this week. We're going to be doing more live streams, but we're on Jose Watch. This is what's happened now. You know, Liverpool's all sorted. You guys, 2 wins, no goals conceded, 6 in the back of the net. But we're on Jose Watch all week. What's going to happen next? What you know, we now wait for Friday's.
And that really is, guys. I mean, if you're watching this, it's as interesting to watch from a Liverpool perspective because there's a bit of Schadenfreude in there, and I enjoy it because if things aren't going well at Manchester United, it's just one of those things. You know, you've grown up, you support Liverpool, you don't like Man United. If you like Man United, you don't like Liverpool, and you know there is a bit. I think why we see each other's clubs in that light is we have deep down, whether you want to admit it or not, a respect for the success that both teams have had down the years.
Well, I tell you, the vitriolic hatred is what I don't understand. I used to be the one that was hurling the same songs that I didn't even understand. You know, just pure ignorance. But I've said many times before, and I'll say it again. If Liverpool fans and Man United fans knew that Matt Busby played for and captained Liverpool, it would change a lot of perspectives of how whenever we're going to play each other at some point in the season and there's going to be literally vitriol, abuse, and it's crazy. And whenever the Munich air disaster happened for Manchester United, the first team to help the club by loaning the players was Liverpool. You know, the 2 teams have a bond that actually should transcend, and the most successful teams as well.
They do have, unfortunately, some people, and I've got a friend who's a Manchester United season ticket holder, and he refers back to times where, you know, he saw a lot of abuse hurled from Liverpool fans at Manchester United. He's Manchester United through and through. He's lived there all his life. So, you know, you can see it from both sides. We're not wanting to prevent, you know, to present that sort of intensity within what we're doing here, but we still do not like each other's setups, their clubs, the individuals involved. So I'm going to tell you that, and I'm going to say, you know, but it's not a matter of life and death, or it shouldn't be. So
no, but I think I agree. But a point of this channel was as well to promote semi-decent relations, because the minute I see certain songs sung or certain things said, I sort of just I don't want to be a part of that. You know, that's an element.
I think where you and I are trying to kind of rise above the usual partisan approach from one side or the other is that, and you know, I've only got to look at my friends' fantasy league lineups and some of them, you know, and some of them. Well, yours as well. Like, why is that?
Do you know what? I was trying to get Salah in the team, and do you know, I was saying this to a couple of friends. I didn't pick Salah because I think everyone will have Salah. So if you're going to win, you have to do the opposite of what people do.
Oh, okay.
So that was.
Well, I'll give you that. But the line I was going down was that I have some friends and they don't pick a Liverpool player out of sheer, I'm never having a Liverpool player about the team. Now, I know I'm only talking about fantasy league here, but that extends beyond that. But as long as you can kind of temper that enthusiasm at the end of the day, but there's nothing in world football, in my opinion, that beats a Manchester United-Liverpool game.
No, and it is the derby. It's you know, Manchester City versus Man United is nothing by comparison.
Liverpool, Everton.
You know, it's a friendly derby, right? It's a family derby, as that was nicknamed. They're exciting matches, and you really look forward to them. But there's nothing quite like Man United against Liverpool. I think Celtic and Rangers, in fairness to them, they have something very similar.
But that's a very different product in a different country, and you know there are two clubs who kind of lead the way in Scottish football. Celtic more so in recent years, and Rangers are kind of getting back to where they were. But outside of that, they don't really have 4 or 5 other teams to challenge in the same way that the Premier League now has. Who, you know, bar Man City, you would say the standout team. The next 4 or 5, they're difficult to pick.
Yeah. So guys, look, let us know what you think. Do you agree with Barry's assessment of the player ratings for Crystal Palace?
And just before
Liverpool?
we go, Virgil van Dijk got the official Premier League man of the match. So I don't know about that. Looking back, I think it's a safe choice. Whoever's made it, I don't know who's
I think because he was rock solid, and he is.
But so was Gomez.
He surprises me at just how colossal he is in stature, and he reminds me a lot of Jaap Stam. So it's you spent a lot of money for him, but it was worthwhile.
Well, we can see Jamie Carragher now waxing lyrical about Virgil. So I think it's been Carragher's choice tonight. So but to me that surprised me. He didn't go for the younger lad who had an equally good game. So
guys, do you agree with you know, Van Dijk being man of the match? Let us know. Do you agree with Barry's ratings on Crystal Palace 0, Liverpool 2? And also, as the week goes on, and we'll be back, you know, very soon. And make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit the bell icon. That way, you'll be notified when our next stream is going live. We're on Jose Watch this week. It's now what's Liverpool sorted. It's going to be a quiet week at Melwood, and we are watching every single day to see what the next step is with Jose Mourinho.
Jose in.
Jose, yeah, you probably want Jose in. I wanted Jose in too, as long as so long as it was working out. And he just looks a bit happier, and he starts presenting the club a wee bit better, and the style changes a wee bit. But you know, he has done a good job. Let us know what you think about Jose Mourinho. It's a massive debate that's going to rumble right the way into the international break. And you know, do you agree with me that if United lose against Spurs at Old Trafford next Monday night, and we'll be doing a live stream for that, is Jose Mourinho gone? So guys, let us know your comments, and we'll cover them on our next show, and we will see you for the next live stream.
See you then.